Okay, here we go. SportsCaster.com. What's going on, everybody? Justin Rose with you alongside with a couple of Michigan State Spartans,
Yes.
current and former. Kristin Kujawa and Lyric Sloan is here, one of our student broadcasters of the night. Welcome in to Friday Night Football. I can't believe it.
We're
Week
here
8.
again. Week 8, Justin.
And they keep inviting us back. But
every
week
time.
8.
Week 8.
This is pretty incredible stuff. So for new people out there just taking us in for the first time here at SportsCaster.com, we go to different high school football games, and we put the microphone in the hands of student broadcasters, aspiring students from both high schools and colleges locally, and even in the greater Detroit region, like Lyric here is a Michigan State current. Welcome to the booth. We should give you a chance to say something.
No, you're totally fine. I'm
this-
so excited to be here tonight.
Now, you've been to one game before with us.
I
Is that
have.
correct?
Yes, I did the Chippewa and Dakota game.
Okay. How was that experience for you?
It was really cool. I mean, I never thought that I would be in a booth, but being in a booth is so cool, getting to talk to other people, getting the athletes to come post-game. I love this experience. It's amazing.
I mean, and for any aspiring broadcasters out there, SportsCaster.com is going to have a ton of opportunities for you guys to get involved right from the comfort of your home. We're going to have other things that we're working on to give more hands-on experience to you. But go to SportsCaster.com, find out how you can start your own channel, upload your own sports content, and start your discussions getting going. Of course, social media is the wave of the future, as we all know. And speaking of the wave of the future, we might be watching a young man tonight who's the wave of the future in college football. That's by the quarterback of the Belleville Tigers. So why don't we let you, Lyric, kind of gush about Mr. Underwood for a second here.
Well, after doing some research, as we all know, Bryce Underwood is the #1 ranked QB in the nation. Everyone's eyes are on him currently in this moment. He actually currently just got an NILD from the University of Michigan, $4 million, but he's verbally committed to LSU. Everyone's eyes are on him right now.
That's exciting.
He's extremely versatile. I mean, we haven't seen something like this in a really long time. He started out originally as a quarterback, and a running back, excuse me, so he can run the ball and he can throw extremely well and accurately. It's insane.
He took this Tigers team to new levels, even as a freshman and as a sophomore. You don't typically see freshmen and sophomore come in and make the waves that this kind of player has for this Tigers team. They had a 3-8. And there's only, 9 games in a regular season?
Yeah.
So Belleville was already cranking beforehand.
They were on fire.
But then he comes in, and they go 38 games in a row with wins until they were upset in the state championship game by Southfield A&T. So they're kind of calling this season a revenge tour. And, Kristin, they're off to a pretty good start at 7-0.
That's insane.
I would say so. And I would say this is the revenge tour. They're going to take it all the way.
It's hard.
They are.
It's hard to argue because, there are so many talented Division I players on this Belleville team. Dearborn Fordson, they're 5-2. They're 1 win away from being playoff eligible. And how nice would it be for them to be able to come in to Belleville on senior night and upset the #1 player, not just the #1 quarterback, guys, the #1 ranked player in the country. Michigan hasn't had the #1 player in the country since I don't even remember. I don't even know if they've ever done it, to be
so
quite
excited.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I've seen this kid play a couple of times. He could do it all. The tools are there. He's just physically gifted, tall, strong, fast, great arm, and a knowledge of the game. And that's the big part when you can put all of those things together. So with that, what are some of the things that you guys are looking for, not only from him, but Belleville as a whole to continue their undefeated streak?
Well, I mean, Belleville has not just Bryce Underwood, but we have a Miami of Ohio, his wide receiver and cornerback. His name is Adrian A.D. Walker Jr. He's committed to Miami of Ohio. And I was watching the replays of some of their games, and, I mean, that's just your guy. I mean, Bryce is always looking for him in the end zone. I mean, this guy can run it. This guy can catch it pretty well. I'm really excited to see him play tonight as well.
And as far as who else is on this team, and they've got a cornerback that's going to the University of Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And so, obviously, they know what they're doing down there in Pittsburgh in the ACC, trying to get some more. He's a transfer. I have to look him up very quickly here on my little note sheet here. Dotson, that is Elijah Dotson. He's a transfer from U of D Jesuit, and now he's here playing with Bryce Underwood and company.
About that?
So you've got, those are just 3. And let's not mistake it here. Belleville has more kids in the pipeline that are going to be playing secondary level college football, whether that be D1, whether that be D2, or even D3. So this team is absolutely stacked. A very, very hard thing for the Tractors to stop.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I
Did
like
you know
what you
that
did
the
there.
Fordson Tractors?
Fordson Tractors, yes, they are.
Do you happen to know a notable alumni who's recently been in the news from
I do.
Dearborn Fordson?
Would you like to say who it is?
Sure.
Do you know?
Yes, I
Who
do.
is it?
Who is it? Tell
It's
us.
Robert Sala, who
Yeah.
unfortunately was just fired from the New York Jets, but it's a pretty cool alumni to have. I mean, I know you were saying you want him as our defensive back coach on the line.
I mean, bring him over to Detroit, and maybe he could take over for
take him.
Aaron Glenn when he
We'll
potentially
take him.
moves on to a head coach. I think he'll get another job as another head coach. I think, personally, feelings aside, Aaron Rodgers had some things to do with that, but it is what it is. But Robert Sala, yeah, he was one of those guys, played for Dearborn Fordson back in the day. Now he still keeps in touch a lot with the university, with the high school and the program stuff there. So he's got some time. Maybe we'll see him in the stands tonight checking out the #1 recruit in the nation. But
I don't know. That Fordson stand is looking not very packed over there, you guys.
I don't know if it's a busy night.
I don't know. Traffic coming into Belleville?
Coming in from
I don't
Dearborn
know.
over here to Belleville,
I don't
but
know. I'm
we've
nervous.
we've got a lot of action planned for you guys tonight. So, one of our favorite segments. It's one of my favorite segments. Kristin does a great job. She scours
thank
the
you.
archives and the history books
the archives
of these schools,
Yes.
and she finds out some things that you just don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as someone who doesn't know a lot,
I'll tell you.
tell me some things I don't know about these programs, would you please?
Okay, well, I'd love to. So we're in the beautiful town of Belleville, which I have never been to before, but as I was driving in, I was pleasantly surprised. It's very cute, very quaint. Can you hear the train?
I can hear the train
Oh, my gosh.
right
So,
here next to the stadium.
perfect
That's pretty
right here
cool.
next to the stadium. One of the special things about Belleville is that it is the city of the National Strawberry Festival.
No way.
Well, it is. And also, it is home of the Belleville 3, who originated techno. And as we know, techno is huge in the city of Detroit, started in the mid-'80s. In the Belleville 3, we're from Belleville.
I did not know
How
that.
about that? That's kind of fun,
Yes,
right?
that's a very cool stat.
And here's a fun one, and actually I think Lyric looked him up. Their mascot, the Tyrone the Tiger, actually has his own Instagram page. And
Does he really?
quite the following.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, how many followers is
Like
he?
860.
For
It's-
a mascot.
That's
for
what
a
I'm
mascot.
saying. For
We're
high
gonna have to
school.
track
It's
the
crazy.
mascot down here tonight.
I'm hoping he
know.
makes an appearance
well,
tonight.
he might be leading the Tigers out of the den. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Do Tigers
maybe.
have dens?
Sure. We'll say for tonight. We'll
Okay.
say for tonight. Now, Fordson, on the other hand.
Tractors.
The Tractors,
Yes.
yes. And I bet everyone wants to know, out of Dearborn, why are they the Tractors? Well, because at the time when Henry Ford funded the school, he was producing the tractor called the Fordson. And like a beautiful marriage, hence the school was named Fordson.
I have been to Fordson High School, and in
Yes.
the corner of not in the end zone, but out to the
Yeah.
side, they have.
The tractor.
The
tractor.
How about that?
So
insane.
it's almost like some teams have like cannons that go
Yeah.
off. I don't think this is true, but I would love if they just rev the
engine?
Just
That would
turned
be
it
amazing.
on.
That
Turn
would-
on the tractors.
That would be amazing. And they have a really lovely tradition. Their helmets are all yellow. And the way that they signify varsity, JV, and freshman teams is they put blue electrical tape for every year that you've participated. So if you're a freshman, you have no blue stripe. And as you go up through the program, you add a blue stripe on your helmet.
How about that?
Isn't that very?
I
that's
see
kinda-
that now on the
yeah,
back
do
of
you
the
see
helmets
that?
there.
Right. Yeah.
That's
that was
good.
their original tradition, was putting blue electrical tape to signify your year, which is kind of, I like that.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like. I just want to point out something that I saw here. We have Mason Baydoun. He's a senior at Fordson, and he was just having some words with some of the Belleville players.
Already?
Talking some smack
Oh.
as we get started for game time here, just a couple minutes away from our broadcast ending. We're going to be heading up to the booth for Chris Renwick's call. If you're interested in listening to this game, you can do so, WJR, or you can keep it right here at SportsCaster.com, because we're going to have some student broadcasters up in the booth tonight, and some familiar names if you've been watching some of our games this year. We have Cody Stedman.
He's
is a
back in the booth.
student from Saline High School. This kid is one of those kids you just love to see. Give him an opportunity. how can I come back and do it again? How can I come back and do more? And here he is again. Lyric, you're the same boat as that. How can I do more, get more involved? Because this type of opportunity does not come around every single time. But here at SportsCaster.com, we want to give as many kids the opportunity as they can to get into the booth. Joining them in the booth is our Taryn Fritzshing. Now, she's typically our sideline reporter.
Yeah.
Not so tonight. Up in the booth, we had to have, hey, sometimes people call out, get sick, can't make it. Taryn said, all right.
I'm in.
I don't know if she necessarily said that, but we said that. And so she's up in the booth tonight. So for those two to be alongside Chris Renwick, this game is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think as we get close to winding it down and sending it up to the booth, what are you guys looking for? What's the things you guys are looking for from this, for either team tonight?
I mean, I think I'm excited for. I'm obviously excited to watch Bryce, but I'm not going to poo-poo Fordson. I think they're going to bring it. They're going to go big, and I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I'm not going to rule them out.
Okay, I mean, you're one win away from being playoff eligible.
This is what I'm saying.
That's a big deal for these, and they only have one more week left.
Yeah.
So if it's not now, then it's the win or go home type scenario, and you just don't want to put that on your kids' plate. So obviously, tough task ahead trying to beat this Belleville team, but number 2 is talking some smack.
Yeah, they're
trying to get it going.
Oh, I love it.
And we'll see. What about you, Lyric?
I mean, it's Belleville's senior night tonight, so it's obviously really special for everyone that's going to move on and either go to college, D1, or put their football career behind them. I really am excited to bring I'm trying to be respectful, but the national anthem, but I'm really excited. I don't know. I want to see a dynamic. I went to Seaholm, and, I'm not saying our athletics aren't good, but it's something I've never seen like this before, so I'm really excited to see everyone's performance tonight.
It should be a very, very good game. Really looking forward. Hopefully everybody stays happy, safe, and healthy on the field because obviously there's just so much talent on both sides of this team. You want to make sure that it's going to be a great football game. One team already bowl eligible. Here, I already think they're in college.
Oh, look at you.
One team already in the playoffs here. Another team looking for a playoff berth. And why don't you guys come around here real quick? Come on. We got some fans in the stands.
Come on
around here. Come on around here.
Yeah.
Future Tigers. Future Tigers. Future Tigers.
Kendrick, you're on TV right now. What's up?
Nothing.
Wait, are you all Tigers? Yeah? Nice.
What do you guys think is going to happen?
What grades are you in? Come on.
Tigers on the mountain. Bell. It's gonna be 90-0.
90 to 0.
90 to 0? Oh my gosh, it's going to be 90 to 0. Who do you want to see?
100 million to 0.
Wait, who do they want to see tonight? Who do you want to see tonight?
Infinite to 0.
Bryce. Are you all here to see Bryce?
Ready?
That's good.
Who's your guys' biggest football aspiration?
Bryce. Antoine, Bryce, and AD, and many. No, my brother's many people, so I was thinking. Yeah.
Nice.
Same for him.
We got a good crew.
We've got a good crew here.
Good fans.
Hey, can we get a Go Tigers on 3? 1, 2, 3.
Go Tigers!
There you go. There you have it. From the number 1 fans. All right.
Love it.
You guys, thanks for joining us on set. We appreciate you guys.
Good job,
All right.
you guys. Good job.
All right, all the high fives. All the high fives.
All right.
We love it.
Good job, you guys.
We love it.
Go Tigers.
Okay,
Go.
back to the other side of the camera now.
Let's go Tigers. Go.
Part of that is for aspiring broadcasters is they might have tackled the camera unless we had them come on.
Yeah, I know.
So I had to avoid any potential tackling of this. So I believe that we are getting set to head it up to the booth. Mr. Chris Renwick standing by with Taryn Fritzshing and Cody Stedman. Before we do that, though, real quick.
Yeah.
We had $100 billion to nothing. What do you guys think?
$100 billion to nothing. That's the best. How can you top that?
So you got Belleville.
We better see it tonight.
Belleville.
What do you got, Lyric? Quick.
I'm rooting for Belleville. It's their senior night. Got to see it.
Got to see Belleville go 8-0. All right, Chris Renwick up in the booth is the first kick of the game.
Let's go. Let's go.
This fall, for your game day travel, skip the hassle of driving and parking or the surcharge of ride shares and get a safe, dependable ride with Metro Cars. Their outstanding fleet of vehicles ranges from sedans and SUVs to 56-passenger motor coaches, all driven with experienced and professional chauffeur drivers. Metro Cars, a sports fan's best friend. Call Metro Cars today at 800-456-1701. That's 800-456-1701 or online at metrocars.com.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station. From the heart of America and the high school home game gridiron, this is the Drive to the Game on 760 WJR. Sponsored by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Also sponsored by McLaren Healthcare. Now, here's your hometown football host, Chris Renwick.
Welcome into senior night here in Belleville. We got a good one. The 7-0 Tigers doing battle against the Dearborn Fordson Tractors. Started the season with 2 consecutive losses, but have since rattled off 5 wins. So they sit at 5-2. Fordson starts this thing on offense, run a couple of plays. They're already out past the 45-yard line to the 46. Aladola is the quarterback here for the Tractors. It was a good return, getting them out past the 30-yard line. They ran one play with a fresh set of downs here. We're scoreless here early in the first quarter. Adewale has that one go off his face mask, able to pick it up on one hop, and then he's taken down for a big loss. Gang tackled there defensively by this Tigers secondary. They collapsed quick. Desmond Yarborough made the stop defensively. I want to welcome in my friends in the booth tonight. Tara Fritzshing is somebody you usually hear down on the field. It's nice to have you up in the booth. A little bit of better view here.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be up here, see the game from a new angle, and really just watch all of it and from such a close eye view.
Cody Stedman also rejoins us. It's good to have you back. Couple of grizzled veterans here in the booth tonight.
Yeah, it's great to be back, Chris. Hey, just starting off with the game before the kickoff officially started, they started playing the Purge horn theme. Now that sent goosebumps down me, but hey, let's just see how Fordson is able to hold up against the Tigers.
Firas Awadala is the quarterback. Sends a motion man right to left, calls for the snap, gets it, throws it out to the flat, got a man out across the 40 before he's taken down at the 42-yard line. Nice tackle there, Elijah Dotson making the stop on Adam Darwish. He's kind of their slot receiver, a crafty junior. Picks up a couple of those yards that they lost on the sack, brings up 3rd down and 14. It's a packed house here for senior night, as rattled off a number of names that have been huge contributors for this Belleville team over the years, and we'll get to the main man on the dais when the Tigers take offense. Aldewale takes the snap, looking, stepping up into the pocket, wants to take a shot down the field. He's got a man and it dropped it. Adam Darwish was wide open on the far side at about the 35-yard line of Belleville, and he wasn't able to haul it in. Maybe just a tad high there from Adewale, but couldn't come down with it, and just like that, Fordson's going to have to punt it away. And this Fordson offense sprinkled in with some veterans up front, but they've got some sophomores that have serious play time at this varsity level. And you juxtapose that with what you see on the other side. A lot of talent, a lot of football played for this Belleville defense. So the Tractor's going to have to punt it away. That was a good snap. A little bit of a rugby-style kick, high end-over-end kick, and it's going to be muffed and then put on the ground. Belleville comes up with it. Maybe a miscommunication back there between those receivers. Looks like maybe one of the up men went back into Andre Thomas Jr., who was back deep, and ball falls to the turf, but Belleville comes up with it. They'll start things off at their own 24-yard line. Check that to 23. So this offense, led by the number 1 recruit in the nation, Bryce Underwood, all 6'3", 190 of them. He is committed and has been committed for some time to LSU. He starts this drive with a give to his back, trying that left side, just following the blocks out across the 30 to the 35-yard line before he's run out of bounds. And that'll be enough for a first down depending on where they spot it. Maybe he's going to be a hair short. Looks like possibly a gain of 9, bring up 2nd and 1. And Bryce Underwood can do it all. A lot of read option here at Belleville, but he can sling it.
They've got 3 receivers to the right, ball far, hash mark. Belleville in their all whites. Underwood takes, gives it once again to his back up the middle. That's Raymond Smith Jr., the 5'11", 202 senior, just plowing forward for the first down out to the 40. So fresh set of downs, clock continues to run, 9:15 to play. Here in the first quarter, we're scoreless. 2 receivers to the right, the wide side of the field. Motion man left to right. Underwood calls for the snap, gets it, gives it to his back, spinning out of 1 tackle, can't get out of the second one, he'll pick up 2. This Belleville offense is multiple. They can do a ton of different things. They're giving you a lot of the run option here, but that's when Bryce Underwood's liable to take you over the top.
Absolutely, Chris. A ton of this team is filled with so many college commits. We have Memphis, Miami, Ohio, CMU, Colorado, and especially with LSU. But many of these players are coming into their senior year uncommitted.
So they go tight formation. Motion man left to right. Underwood calls for it, gets it. Quick 3-step drop, wants to throw it. Got a man out across midfield into Fordson territory. That's Antoine Thomas hauls it in. And Taryn, this is what he does. He's able to get you biting, bring those secondary players up to the line of scrimmage on those runs and hit you over the top.
I mean, yeah, like he's really just been able to give so many of these other players a chance because you have those top players in Elijah Dotson, you have those top players in Antoine Thomas, and it really just has been nice to be able to see that.
Here's a give out to the right. Nice run there. Raymond Smith Jr. for a big gain, 20-plus yards as they move the sticks. He has proven very difficult to take down early in this game. He gets a spell.
One of the names that ESPN gives Bryce Underwood, QBPP, pocket passer. And with that, we especially see it. He's able to take the snap, quickly look at his options, throw out, and he can be able to get it in and have that amount of perception and completion.
He certainly manipulates the pocket really well. It all starts with the protection up front. He's usually given a fair amount of time to operate from that pocket, but he's able to just slide to his right when he needs to. If he's got a roll, he will. He can just manipulate the pocket so that he's got the protection he needs. And in this case, it's proven pretty effective on this drive as they're looking for points inside Fordson territory. Inside the 30 at the 27. 1st and 15 after a penalty. Here's a quick little toss off to the left side. Got some space at the 10, at the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Charles Britton III. It was just a little motion. Underwood called for it. Just a quick little touch pass to him, and it goes for 6. Tigers strike first.
That is a huge way to start the game, especially because this game means a lot both to Belleville and to Dearborn, because if Dearborn ends up winning, they are both tied for first in the KLAA, so the Kensington Lakes Activities Association, and they will, regardless if Belleville has the better record, they'll still be tied for first in their conference.
Yeah, and you got to look at those conference records. That's exactly right, Taryn. So 7:04 to play here in the first, and Belleville strikes first. They set up for that extra point. It's up. And it's good. So just like that, we got poppers going off in the stands here on the Belleville side. Belleville up 7-0, and this is something this offense has done almost every game this year. They've been in a couple close ones, but for the most part, offensively, it all goes off the right hand of Bryce Underwood. And it's not just the passing. It's not just the blocking. It's the decision-making. It's being decisive on a play. It's knowing where to go. It's something why you see LSU and why he is the #1 player in the country coming out of high school. Because it's the decision-making. It's the poise and never getting rattled. It's something that served this Tigers team pretty well here, Taryn.
I think that it's definitely something that is such a special trait, really, in Bryce Underwood, especially losing in that state finals to Southfield A&T. You're gonna want to be mad, but you're going to want to keep that calm, and that's exactly what he's been doing this entire season. I mean, they're undefeated, and it really just has led them up to every point to now.
And it's that controlled rage, right? It's being able to take that adversity and flip it, and it's something that they've used pretty well here early in the season, late in the season, as they're 7-0. This one's fielded on the run inside the 5, coming back the other way, out across the 20, skeeting through one tackle and then out to the 25-yard line. That's the bring back by Ahmed Albrahi. Brings it back to the 31-yard line, so pretty good starting field position here for the Tractors. And I think offensively here for Dearborn Fordson, it's pretty simple. Put a couple of plays together, move the sticks. Move the sticks. Move the sticks. One play at a time. Because things can get out of control when you play this team, particularly here at home. High energy, senior night. So I think for the Tractors offensively, it's just put a couple of first downs together.
Absolutely. Especially with the Belleville defense. They know their ways on trying to punch through, get some sacks, and try to get the offense down on its knees so that they can be able to convert. But all they have to do is get a few runs, get first down, and edge towards the end zone.
Firas Awadallah is in the backfield to the shotgun, gives to his back, able to stiff arm one man, and then he's going to be taken down. That'll be a loss inside the 30 to the 27-yard line, but we have a flag on the play, potentially a little bit of a hands to the face here. Looks like it could be a face mask. I think Belleville's going to get dinged with this one. They sure are. Coming off the edge, I believe it was Rashad Jones, the defensive end, 6'3", 240, got his big paw up to the face mask, and just a little bit of a turn. Not much, but that's all it takes. So that'll give them a first down even after the loss of yards, and they'll spot it at the 46-yard line.
I'd say this helps Fordson a lot, because when you have those players like Elijah Dotson, who's both a defensive back and a receiver, and Adrian Walker, who are both committed, that really helps just move them down the field.
They send trips to the right. Awadallah checks with the sideline, checking to see what that defensive formation is, what he should be seeing. Belleville showing pressure. Do they bring it? No, they bail. 4-man rush. Here's a give out to the left. Just nothing doing there. Khalil Bander. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Clock under 6. Belleville up 7-0. So they'll huddle. They'll get this play. 2nd down and 10 here. The run has been tough to come by for Fordson here early on. They had a nice little run early on their first offensive play, but haven't been able to get this thing going again. Awadallah to the shotgun. He sends trips to the right. Ball near hash mark. Tractors moving right to left. And they're all blues, yellow lids. Awadallah rolls to his right, throws, had a man, just missed him high. Matty Wahab was the intended receiver. He was wide open, but Awadallah just couldn't find him, and it sails incomplete 3rd down.
I think it's really important for Fordson to get this first down here. Otherwise, Belleville will just come straight out once they get the ball back.
It was a little bit of a high throw from Adewale, but that's one that you just got to come down with. You got to come down with it. It would have given you at least, at the very minimum, I mean, he was pretty wide open. My guess is he runs for a first down, but at the very minimum, you're looking at a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 10.
Yeah, there's a ton of pressure coming out here, especially with the senior night, a home game for Belleville, and the pressure here is palpable. So Fordson really has to do stuff when a flag is called with the referees.
Awadallah to the shotgun, but we've got a flag on the motion man. That'll move him back, and that hurts. 3rd and 15 now for the Tractors.
I mean, this very well could be all of these seniors' last game, because they don't know who they're playing next week. They don't know where they're playing, and that's why I think that this game just means so much for Belleville, because all of these fans have watched the kids grow with many new coaches, and I just think that it's really important for the fans to stay loud.
So 3rd and 15. Clock stops on the incompletion, 5:15. Awadallah wants to go to the air. Got a man, incomplete. He was looking over the top Mustafa Al-Janabi was the intended receiver. It was pretty good, sticky coverage on the outside. That's Elijah Dotson in coverage. And he had a hand on it, couldn't haul it in. It's fourth down.
Al-Janabi is one of the key players noted online, a wide receiver. Olivet Nazarene and Wayne State offered wide receiver, and he has been doing so much magic in just the past few weeks, especially with the Wayne Memorial game dropping 51-0, exclusively giving 2 touchdowns, according to 3 weeks ago.
So Fordson punts it away. That rugby-style kick, give his gunners some time to get down. That one's fielded at the 25, coming back to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, far sideline, cuts it in at the 50, and then taken down on the tractor side of that midline stripe at the 48-yard line. Heck of a return, great starting field position here for Bryce Underwood and company. I talked about the intangibles a couple of minutes ago while Belleville was on defense. Who's down here throwing passes to his receivers? Bryce Underwood. Just staying in that mindset, not worrying about what his defense is doing. He's got to stay in that pocket mentally, and he was doing it down here on the sideline getting ready for this next series.
As much as you can expect from the number 1 player in the country, not just the state of Michigan.
So they go back to offense. Underwood, couple of men in the backfield, gives it, trying that left side with a hole out to the 45-yard line, and then hauled down, tripped up just shy of the 40. That'll be enough for a first down here for Belleville. That's a heck of a run by Raymond Smith Jr.
And that takes it into tractor territory to the Tractors, 41-yard line, first and 10 Tigers.
So Smith gets a spell. In comes Andre Thomas Jr. They send 2 receivers right, 2 left. Now the motion man behind Bryce Underwood. He's going to keep it. Looking on the pitch, on the option pitch. That ball's live, and we got a flag back where Bryce Underwood was at about the 45-yard line. Looks like potentially a hold. He was scrambling. They were looking to find that option play. Was holding on to it like he was a ball carrier. Had it tucked in his forearm. But then at the last minute, as Fordson closed in, he pitched it off. And it was a little wild. Wasn't able to haul it in, Andre Thomas Jr. And it falls to the turf. So we got to check this flag because this would be a loss. Back to the 48-yard line. And the crew converges at about the 45 as they talk things over near hash mark. No real indication yet. Both teams are trying to eavesdrop a little bit, getting an inclination, and my guess is this is going backwards on Belleville. Let's get the call. Yeah, that goes on Belleville. Fordson's going to, they're going to say 2 penalties here on Belleville. The first gets declined. This one gets accepted, so that'll back them up 15 yards where the end of the play was, so that'll be spotted at the 37-yard line now, and they need forever for a first down. They need the 32-yard line of Fordson. They're on their own 38.
They got to push something here, because if they don't, that can be an easy conversion for Fordson, and they are in range with a 35-yard line to get to the end zone.
So 1st and 28 officially. Underwood takes. He's got 2 receivers stacked up near formation. This time gives it, trying to pick a couple of yards up. Tough running there. Andre Thomas gets hauled down at the 45-yard line. So a good gain brings up 2nd down and long from their own 45. Ball near hash mark. And this is a coaching perspective now, right? Because you don't want to take 3 shots for 30 yards. Mm-hmm. You want to try to pick up as many yards as you can. So this will be spotted as a 4-yard gain. So bring up 2nd and 24 here. They're going to have to take a shot here at some point. 3:20 to play. Friday Night Lights, senior night here at Belleville. Underwood calls for it. 3-step drop, settles in the pocket. Doesn't like what he sees. Now he takes off. Running at the 50-yard line, stiff arms in tractor territory. That'll spot that at the 47, so a positive gain there for Bryce Underwood. Just didn't see anything down the field. Credit Fordson on that back-end coverage.
And it looks like that the special teams are coming out to punt this away. The special thing with our punters is Braden Lame, a 4-star and currently uncommitted. He has done so much in the past 2 years, especially with the game against Southfield last postseason. And he has done so much for this team as a kicker punter. He's able to get so much completion. I believe he's at an 88% completion with his kicks, and he has not let these Tigers down.
That's pretty good. This one skied in the air. It's going to take a hop and then out of bounds. Very Coffin-esque style kick. And they'll spot that near the 10-yard line, and that's where it goes out of bounds. So a heck of a kick there. You talked about the weapon that he is. We see it on display. Now, Taryn, what are you thinking here offensively for this Tractors team?
I'm thinking that with that last play, with that last possession that Belleville had, this really, Fordson has been given such a great opportunity to just drive down the field and really just tie this up. And I think that that's what they're really hoping for, because you have the #1 ranked team in the state and you just stop them regardless of if it was a penalty or not. And that just really helped them. And so I think that this is the time, this is when you need to score, because instead of being down 14-0, you have the opportunity to make it tied.
3 minutes left here in the first. Fordson back on offense at their own 10-yard line. This will be a loss after a give from that backfield. Khalil Bandar gets the carry. He loses a yard back to the 9, so 2nd and 11 coming up. And just defensively for this Tigers front, they are so stout. They don't give up a lot of big runs. And aside from that early first run on that first offensive play of the game for Fordson, they just haven't given up anything on that interior. So clock continues to run, 2:22 to play here in the first. Belleville up 7-0. Chris Renwick in the booth along with Taryn Fritzshing and Cody Stedman as we bring you this wonderful game here on Friday Night Lights, our drive to the game coverage. Adewale on the roll, throws, got a man, spinning out of 1 tackle. He'll pick up 4, so bring up 3rd and 7 coming up. And that clock continues to run. Defensively, the Tigers just aren't giving them any air to breathe.
Especially with a team full of the class of 2025, this is one of the games that Fordson doesn't really want to see. Right now, the score against Belleville for all season is 25-18, with Fordson leading. With one more added to the loss, this would break the Fordson team entering into the postseason.
So 3rd and 8 here for the Tractors. Firas Awadallah to the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers to his left. Wants to take a shot down the field. Incomplete. He was looking for Mustafa Al-Janabi, but that was just good coverage on the outside. Once again, Elijah Dotson is there, and it falls incomplete, and Fordson's going to have to boot it away. So they send their punt unit out. Now this is danger zone here. All the way back at about the 12-yard line, 13-yard line. And now their punter, Hassan Sharaf, stands in his own end zone a yard deep. They like that rugby style. He gets this one. This is a straightforward punt. It's going to be a good one. It's going to take a Belleville hop and die there at the 45-yard line. So that's where the Tigers and Bryce Underwood will take over offensively. And the problem is when you get into a field position battle with Belleville here, you start them in plus territory, usually bad things happen for opposing teams.
Yeah, usually things would happen, especially with the last season showing off the might of Bryce Underwood defeating every single team again and again and again for the MHSAA postseason, it really does show that entering in that postseason again isn't going to be hard, and they might claim that state championship title.
So a little bit of a cushion here for the slot receiver. Underwood goes that way. Ooh, he was trying to go that way. But batted down by that Fordson front, it falls incomplete. And that's just good awareness. That's just knowing, hey, I'm not going to get home, so I'm going to make sure I follow where Bryce Underwood's eyes are going and then see if I can hop up and block that one from making a completion. So clock stops on the incompletion. 2nd and 10 here for Belleville at the Fordson 45. Under a minute to play here in the first. Underwood settles in, calls for it, gives it around the left side. Boy, they've got a lot of success running on that left side. Raymond Smith Jr. is the ball carrier. He'll stay in bounds, so the clock rolls at 40 seconds. Right around where that first down marker is, pick up a 9, so it's going to be 3rd and short here.
I think that Raymond Smith Jr. has really been a sneaky player for this offense, at least in this game. Bryce has really just been giving the ball to him a lot, and it's been really great to see just him kind of explode against that Fordson defense.
And they're really favoring that left side. Here's a miscommunication. Underwood's going to take it himself. Cut through that defense. Cut it inside at the 20, at the 10. Oh, the ball's on the ground. I think Fordson's got it. Underwood looked like he pulled that arm towards the ball, but I think Fordson's going to come up with this ball. No indication yet. The fumble is inside the 10. Oh, and they're going to say Belleville's got it. Wow. Wow. And certainly Bryce Underwood not happy with himself. That ball got punched out, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Belleville is within striking distance inside the 5-yard line. We'll take a break. It's our Drive to the Game coverage brought to you by our Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Belleville up 7-0. Come back on the other side.
Have a dream to one. This is SportsCaster.com. Have a dream to one day be a professional sportscaster? Love commenting on sports? Want to be the next great voice? SportsCaster.com is the place to make those dreams come true. A great sports broadcaster is able to capture the action.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Amplify the drama.
To the end zone! Touchdown Detroit Lions! Oh my!
Create memories forever etched in our minds.
A year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
Sends shivers up our spine, make us leap out of our seat, scream at the TV, and even ask ourselves, did that really just happen?
You believe in miracles? Yes!
Now it's your turn to let your voice be heard.
Once again, versatility, the word of the night for Anthony Battani.
SportsCaster.com provides all the tools you need to produce your own content, create your own sports talk show, stir it up with sports commentary, and even take a shot at live play-by-play. Whether young or old, new to sportscasting, or a seasoned voice in sports, just register and open your own channel, create and upload your content, and show the world you know sports. SportsCaster.com. Now, we put the mic in your hands and put you in the center of the action.
It's going down tonight, yeah. Dive right in, let's go.
Dealers, also sponsored by McLaren Healthcare. Once again, Chris Renwick.
So 1st and goal here for Belleville. They run that one out to the 3-yard line, so it's 2nd and goal from there. Underwood's got 2 receivers right, 1 left, ball near hash mark. They swap sides of the field, so Belleville moving right to left. Underwood settles in, 2nd and goal. Here's a give up the middle, 1 foot into the ground, cuts it up, and into the end zone. Raymond Smith Jr. Boy, he is just a load, having a difficult time tackling him, or this Tractor's defense, 5'11", 202. He is a load, and he gets into the end zone for a touchdown.
Raymond Smith Jr. has done a lot for this team this game, especially seeing the last 2 touchdowns. They know their way and they know their stuff, just how to slide through, get enough. And I believe entering into his senior year, he has done a lot. And even though he's uncommitted, he will do a lot for this season, even in the post.
So here is the field goal attempt from the southpaw, puts that one up and through. So Belleville expands their lead, now up 14-0, 11-13 to play here, early second quarter. Well, you can't get a much better atmosphere for a high school football game than this. Belleville 7-0, senior night, as they urge this team on to go 8-0. Tons of talent. Offensively, Bryce Underwood has been very good. I know he was hard on himself on that fumble, but again, it's just that next play mentality he was able to execute.
I mean, that's just really what's important, because you're going to be tough on yourself if you make that mistake,
sure.
But really just getting it back and fixing everything is just what's going to be the key.
We had the supermoon the other night, too, and now we've got, I don't know, what is that? Is that a blood moon? What is that thing?
I don't think
Raymond, do a little Googling for me here. What is that thing? It's the
harvest moon.
Bright red. It's the harvest moon.
Oh.
Okay. The harvest moon. Very good.
I feel like it adds to the ambiance of what we're looking at here.
It's about as orange as the tiger at midfield. It's pretty cool. Here's the kick. This one sails into the end zone for a touchback. So Fordson will start things off at their own 20-yard line. And I think from Fordson's perspective offensively, they have had some guys open.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some players open down the field. They found some soft spots in this zone defense that Belleville plays a lot. But when it comes to getting the ball to their receivers, it's been a little bit high. Firas Awadallah just maybe a little bit nervous, not quite setting his feet. He's had a couple of balls sail on him, and generally that's when, your fundamentals aren't quite sound. You're a little amped up for this game.
Exactly. Entering into this game, there's a ton of pressure on Fordson to up their seasonal score. Ooh. But even with some of the plays just like that down, even before the 10, they got to get their pressure exerted, and they have to push back hard.
Awadallah gets planted on the quarterback keeper. No gain at the 20-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Absolutely planted by that defense.
Even though Dearborn Fordson hasn't really driven the ball down the field, they really have been taking their offense slow, which is, I believe, a key part in keeping that Belleville offense off of the field. You're not going to want Bryce Underwood and Elijah Dotson, that duo. You're not going to want them on the field. You're going to want to keep them off, and that's what I think, honestly, Fordson has been working well at.
Awadallah wants to take a shot down the field. That's a good throw. This time he's got his man in Belleville territory. Mustafa Alajabi hauls that one in. That was good coverage over the top, but credit Awadallah putting that one right in the bucket, and that's a good catch for a big gainer inside Belleville territory.
That is huge for the Fordson offense, especially with how the first quarter went, to finally get past the 50-yard line. I mean, that's huge, and your confidence level really just went up.
And we've got a penalty at the end of the play, so that thing will move from about the 46, 47-yard line. They're going to spot this all the way at the 31 of Belleville. So big time play, big time yardage on both the catch and the penalty puts Fordson in striking position. 10-11 to play here in the first half. It's all Belleville, 14-0. Awadallah from the shotgun, 2 men in the backfield. He's going to keep it. Nope, he's going to give it. That's a good fake out to the 30-yard line. Still fighting, no whistle yet. There goes the whistle. So he'll get stopped at the 30. It's going to be just a gain of 1. bring up 2nd and 9 coming up, but they are just churning those legs. Hassan Al-Mahai was the ball carrier there. Just kept churning the legs, picked up 1 out to the 30.
If they are able to repeat the play that they just made, gaining close to 30 yards and having that same exact energy, even with having some of the penalties go on their side and have Belleville push back farther and farther and farther, they might be able to get this score up even before halftime.
So 3 receivers to the right, ball spotted far hash mark. So that's the wide side of the field. Some soft coverage in the slot. Awadala takes, gives, getting a loss of yard back to the 31-yard line. So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. And there's some work to do here for Fordson. Clock continues to run, 8:45 to play.
You can feel it really in these stands that was a huge play for them, and that's what I think is just such a key part in keeping the team so confident in a game like this is those fans. Those fans will make you excited every single time, and I think that they really matter.
It's a good call. Home field advantage is a big deal in these games. All right, 3rd and 10. Clock at 8:12. Awadala steps up in the pocket, avoiding pressure. He's got some space. Is he going to keep it? Flag back near the pocket. He'll slide down at the 25-yard line. It's not enough for a first down. He needed the 21, so he's going to be 4 yards short. But we got to check this flag. Now they're communicating with the Belleville sideline here to see if they want to accept the penalty. So let's see. He's running back over, picks up the flag, and they're going to accept this. So they're going to replay 3rd down. He was short by about 4 yards. So they'll spot it now at the 41. So it's going to be 3rd and 20 coming up. Big 3rd down. They huddle near the midfield stripe. Clock continues to run. 7:50 to play here in the first half. Belleville up 14-zip. They send trips out to the right. Awadala to the shotgun. Calls for it. Drops, trying to manipulate that pocket. He's going to get sacked. Looks like they stopped that progress at the 48-yard line, so they were moving the wrong way on that last drive, on that last series. And now Fordson's going to have to punt it away. That is good defense here by this Belleville unit.
That is not a way you want to finish your drive, especially with that huge play they had. I mean, that's a real crusher, and I'd be very interested to see what Dearborn Fordson sideline is like over there, because they're probably not very happy.
A lot from what I'm seeing from the Belleville sideline is that some of those players are pretty winded. They're trying to grab themselves.
Oh, that ball is live!
Oh!
Fordson comes up with it. The punter was waiting, held that ball for eternity. And that rugby-style punt did not serve them, or it served them well that time. Just waited, and finally by the time he got it off, it was not a good punt. It was a line drive punt, but it knocked off a Belleville shin, and Fordson hops on top of it. So they catch a break there. Ball spotted at the 41-yard line. And now Fordson's got new life here inside Belleville territory.
I take back everything I just said. Oh my gosh, that is
That's the announcer curse is what that is. That's exactly what that is.
That is huge for Fordson. That'll give him everything. And again, I would love to be on that sideline and see just how that
It's a
mood
different
changed.
tone now, no doubt about it.
Picked up by Hattie Reyes coming off of it, and just seeing how they're being able to react fast enough to get that ball picked up and get through.
Here's
is really nice
to the receiver, and that one is going to be picked off. He was going to throw it, and that one is hauled in defensively. That Raymond Smith Jr., Mr. Do-It-All, pulls that one down. It was given on the sweep. Dean Hamoud pulled it in. They tried that trick play, tried to go over the top into triple coverage. There was nothing there, and Belleville comes up with a big-time interception.
You know, Taryn, I think you got to pull back.
I think I need to stop talking. Oh, my. Oh, my. I just cursed Fordson, and then I cursed Belleville, and then it's back to Fordson. Wow.
So back here offensively, Bryce Underwood and company wants to take a shot. Overthrew his receiver. Look, the realities are, you're not cursing anybody. No, there are no curses here. But this is the ebb and flow of these games, right? This is the swings that happen in these types of games. High pressure, two really good football teams, and things can happen. Sometimes you make your luck, sometimes you get the luck. And that time, Fordson had a little bit of luck there, and Belleville capitalized on the other side. So 2nd down and 10 off the incompletion. Ball spotted at their own 10. Underwood, shotgun, gives to his back, swallowed up. He'll get positive yards. We'll call it a gain of 3 out to the 17-yard line. Raymond Smith Jr. getting a lot of action tonight on both sides of the ball. Pick up positive yards, so it's going to be 3rd down and 7 here. Ball splits the hash marks. 2 receivers right. They stack them up. 2 left. Tight to the formation. Underwood to the shotgun. Calls for it. Wants to throw. Throws over the middle. Got a man. Out across the 25-yard line. And then taken down just shy of the 30. Tayshawn Taylor hauled it in. That's enough for a 1st down.
I think we saw, especially with that interception pickup, I think that was the way for Belleville to say, not today. This is our senior night. This is where we take our stand, and this is our ticket to stay undefeated.
Boy, that was a little bit of a wild snap, and Underwood's able to give it to his back. Andre Thomas, boy, that is just really good awareness. Almost looked like it went off the center's leg as he was snapping it, so it was a little wobbly and slow coming back to Underwood, and he was just very gently able to pick that ball out of the air, and even that little bit of a mishap threw the timing off, but Andre Thomas capitalized, broke a couple of tackles, and now they're in Fordson territory at the 48-yard line. Underwood back to the shotgun. Why not? Try that left side. Still turning, pushing, shoving down to the 41-yard line. Raymond Smith Jr. on the carry. Oh, check that. Andre Thomas on the carry. He'll pick up 7 out to the 41. So 2nd and 3 here. They go right to the line. Clock continues to run. 3:56 to play here in the first half. Belleville with a 14-0 lead. They want more before halftime. Underwood. A little bit of a wild snap again, able to pull it in one-handed. Wants to take a shot down the field. Oh, just missed his receiver. Looking for Antoine Thomas. Just overthrew him, and boy, oh boy, as that ball was sailing through the air past that orange moon. That's a heck of a throw there, but just missed his receiver.
I think Antoine Thomas is one of Bryce's buddies. He relies on them a ton, especially with him being ranked 28th in the state of Michigan and committing to Miami, Ohio University. Even with his plays, he's able to get through, juke his way out of things, and he's able to run straight to the end zone as we saw last play.
Big 3rd down here. 3rd and 3. Underwood takes, gives. trying to find some room. Does. Out to the 35-yard line and then taken down at the 34. That's a first down. Andre Thomas on the carry. And Taryn, we're at the point here in this first half. Look, we only got a couple of minutes left, but this Fordson defense has been out on the field a lot today.
And really, if you look over at their sideline, it's not quite as big as Belleville's, and if you're going to have those same players be out there for multiple snaps, they're bound to get tired.
It's a great point.
It's just, I don't know how long, especially with those runs and how far Bryce can really throw it, I don't know how long they're going to be able to stay out there.
Here's a give to Dathan Bryson, who rumbles forward for +10, gets that first down at the 19-yard line. So they move the sticks, 1st and 10. And we got a stoppage in play. Fordson wants to take a breather. And I think that's exactly it. First of all, we got to come up with a way to stop these guys deep in our own zone, right? They are in the red zone at the 19-yard line. So defensively for Fordson, they're thinking, all right, take a breather here. Let's recoup. Let's regroup. Let's come up with a defense to stop this, because along that left side, this Belleville front is creating huge gaps, huge holes. And whether it's Andre Thomas, whether it's Raymond Smith, I mean, guys are finding open lanes on that left side.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce is able to read so much. And we see it especially with this rivalry of a team, with the press box and the stands shaking at this moment, with everyone trying to yell. I think right now Fordson just has to find a way to keep pushing and pushing back until they reach 4th down, so that they could push back on a field goal attempt.
So what was the discussion over on the Fordson sideline, do you think, Taryn?
I just really think that they need to rest, and especially with halftime, the morale going into the locker room's not going to be well. But I think that when they go into halftime, and even just that timeout right there, they were just really looking just to catch a breath.
1st and 10 from the 19. Underwood with 3 receivers, trips left. Takes that wild snap again. One hand trying that left side with space and a flag. Out at the 10-yard line, shoved out of bounds at the 10-yard line, but we got to check this flag. I think there's a little bit of funny business on that left side, potentially a hole. I think that one's coming back.
Something that Belleville has been used to is a lot of penalties. We just saw a penalty given to Belleville, but they still keep the first down for that.
So that would have been a gain of 9 near the 10-yard line. Instead, this will move them back to the 29-yard line.
I think that the way that Belleville is just able to work with how many penalties they've been getting is really just, I've never seen anything like it. A lot of teams will get so discouraged after a penalty, especially with that moving them as far back as they're at. They're at 2nd and 19.
2nd and 19.
And honestly, I would not be surprised if they end up getting that first down.
Underwood takes, fakes the give. He's going to rumble forward, lower those shoulders. Is that ball out again? They're going to say that ball was out. Fordson says they've got it. No signal from the crew yet. Still no signal. Players are pointing like they've got it. Nope, Belleville keeps it. Wow. So that would be the second time Underwood's put this thing on the turf. Somebody was able to come up with it.
Yeah. I was about to say that Belleville's able to keep their composure. They're able to push through and basically give a mentality of them versus everybody, which it makes sense for the number 1 player in the country. But with that happening a second time, that really doesn't show a lot of guarantee that this game isn't going to go without any score for Fordson.
So 1:38 to play here in the half. That clock now runs on the referee's whistle, so it runs at 1:30. Belleville up 14-0. Now, there's still not a lot of rush here for them. at about the 23-yard line. Still got a couple of timeouts in their pocket. Underwood calls for it. Lots of time. Finally, unloads. Got a man towards the back of the end zone. Looking for Antoine Thomas, but he couldn't find his feet, and he falls out of bounds. So the clock stops 1:07, and it's going to be 3rd and 13 here for Belleville. And I'll tell you what, from a Fordson perspective, if they're able to hold them to a field goal attempt here, that is a win.
Absolutely. When you're versing the number 1 ranked team in the state, in your own conference, to only hold them to 3 instead of 7, potentially 6, that's huge.
So 3 receivers out to the right. Now 1 comes in motion to the left, and we've got a flag. False start here on the offense, so only makes things a little more difficult. So instead of 3rd and 13, they're going to make this 3rd and 18 here for Belleville. And the implications, I mean, potentially for a field goal here, you're looking at a pretty long field goal, 40-plus yarders. So let's see what the decision here is from this staff and Bryce Underwood. 3 receivers left, ball far hash mark. 1:07 on the clock. It's 3rd and 18. Underwood calls for it. He's got time in the pocket. Now he's going to bail. He's going to be taken down. Won't go down as a sack. He'll gain a yard out to the 26-yard line. And we've got a timeout. Fordson will call it. They want to get this ball back. 5:46 to play. 54 seconds to play here in the first half. Belleville up 14-0. Let's see what the decision is here. The ball's spotted at the 26. So you're looking at like a 42-ish yarder field goal.
The fact that Braden Lane, the Belleville kicker, is on the field is surprising. That Fordson is able to hold this Belleville offense to the 35-yard line for a field goal. That doesn't sound right for the number 1 team in the conference and the state.
So Braden Lane, 6'2", 205, the senior, the lefty, gearing up for this one.
And Fordson does have somebody back in case he does miss that.
Logan Wade, one of their backup quarterbacks and safeties, is the holder. Wade calls for it. Good snap, good hold. Kicks up, it's got the distance, and it's through! That is a heck of a kick by Braden Lane with just 50 seconds left here in the first half. Belleville expands their lead. It's 17-0, but that has to be a win for this Fordson defense.
Absolutely. With the route that this game has gone for that Fordson defense, and you let them waltz into the end zone twice, really keeping anybody to 3 in any league of football, that's huge.
And Fordson certainly, that's why they took the time out there on 4th down. They want to get this ball back. They want to try to score. And Fordson received that opening kickoff. So Belleville will get it to start the second half, but they want to try to cut off some of this bleeding here. 17-0 before halftime. So Braden Lane once again on the field, got it teed up at the 40. Not a ton of breeze tonight. Got that cold air. It's going to sail into the end zone for a touchback. So Fordson starts things off at their own 20-yard line with under a minute to play here in the first half. 50 seconds left, and the Tigers up 17-0. And so, Cody, going to the halftime for these two teams, what are the discussions, do you think, from let's say, a Dearborn perspective?
From a Dearborn perspective, I think we're going to see, all right, that holding to a kickoff, to a field goal, how do we replicate that again? That 30-yard pass, how do we replicate that again? And it's those special plays that Belleville doesn't expect, that they can be able to push through, come out, and surprise the Tigers, and to make them scared cats in a way, to make them probably to a close 20-17 score.
All right, here's 1st and 10. Here's a give. Khalil Bander on the carry. They're going to say he was down. A couple of Tigers thought that ball was fumbled, so they were trying to take it into the end zone. But the referee stopped the play, gain of 2, and that clock continues to run. 30 seconds left. They're not going to be able to find a ton of points on this drive with that little time left. Continues to run. 22 seconds left. A very nonchalant effort here offensively by Fordson. I think they're just gonna
run off the
take
clock.
This down. And it looks like that's how the half will come to an end. Fordson not able to find any points on their final drive of the half. Belleville up 17-0 on the Dearborn Fordson Tractors. We'll take a break, halftime here in the booth, come back second half action here in our Drive to the Game coverage, brought to you by our Southeast Michigan Ford dealers here on WJR.
Cooper, sometimes for, people like us up-and-coming broadcasters, we have our podcast coming up, Cooper and Carter, SportsCaster Original. There might not be places for us to post, but now we just have this opportunity.
It makes me smile.
Now we have SportsCaster, and oh, what a lovely place it is.
Okay, now you're getting me excited.
I am, because now we can post our podcast.
Sure.
We can post little clips.
Of course.
We can voice over, professional plays going on in the sports world. We can connect with people like Detroit Lions play-by-play Dan Miller. I mean, the opportunities are just endless, and I absolutely love it.
I absolutely love it as well. Giving us an opportunity and experience that we only could have dreamed of. And now SportsCaster is giving it to us on a silver platter. That's what it does, and that's what it's here for. SportsCaster. We put the mic in your hands.
My name's Cody Stedman. I'm from Saline High School. I'm going to be broadcasting for the Saline team for WJR. I never really thought that sportscasting would be my thing. I was really going towards radio journalism and broadcast journalism. But hey, if this is on the road to it, might as well hit it.
The give, Rush cuts it upfield into the end zone. Touchdown, Saline. That's the magic I was just talking about.
The coolest thing about being with sportscasters.com is that you get to know what the fans are talking about. You get to research what the team is thinking about even before the game starts. And being at the game, being able to report about the plays and knowing what the team is feeling like before you go into the game, it's a real big moment to
The Drive to the Game is sponsored by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. Also sponsored by McLaren Healthcare. Now, for hometown halftime coverage, here's Chris Renwick.
Welcome back. Halftime here, Dearborn, Fordson, and Belleville. And we've got a good one. We'll bring you the second half coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But there are those companies out there that do everything they can to make life easier for you. And in the banking world, the University of Michigan Credit Union is doing just that. And Rashmi Hurst is the AVP of Partnerships at UMCU and joins me here at halftime. Rashmi, it's good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
When it comes to banking, people want things simplified. They want to be able to access their account, see what they've got, and they want it right at their fingertips. They want to be able to do things as quickly as possible these days, and certainly UMCU makes things very easy for people that utilize your services.
Absolutely. I think one of the most interesting aspects is that personalized service and financial education that we're able to give our members and the community as a whole.
And, UMCU, no stranger to football. We're here doing a little high school football tonight, but partnerships with the Detroit Lions, with the University of Michigan Athletic Department, and obviously the football team. It's a really good time to be partners with these programs, doing some really good things over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I always joke my first Michigan football game, actually, Chris, was the Rose Bowl earlier this year.
What a treat.
I started out with quite the bang. We really feel like football brings community together here at UMCU. And so just being able to have these partnerships with the organizations, with the players, promote financial literacy has really been awesome, both with Michigan Athletics and the Detroit Lions. So we partner with Will Johnson and Colston Loveland from Team 145. And are really excited about our partnerships, too, with the Lions players, Jameer Gibbs, Brian Branch, and Taryn Arnold. So it's been a really fun season so far.
Yeah, all really good players that you just named. That's good people to have on the UMCU team. Now, you mentioned financial literacy, and obviously for a lot of the guys that you mentioned, they're really starting out their careers, right? And so for a bunch of athletes that are going to have more money than they've ever had before, having that level of education is really important. But it doesn't just apply for athletes. I mean, anybody can lean on UMCU to make sure that they are up to date on all the rules and regulations and make sure that they are making smart decisions with their money.
Absolutely. And I mean, at the end of the day, we're just people helping people. So whether it's athletes or whether it's non-athletes, right, we have solutions, financial solutions for every stage of life and, meet our members where they're at within their financial journey. So, we have folks that you can call anytime just to get advice, just to get help, insights into, what works for them and what they can do to achieve their financial goals.
When somebody comes into UMCU, what are a couple of questions that you hear most often, or the people that are in these branches? What are some of the things that they hear most often?
Yeah, one thing that I'd really love to stress is we hear, can I join? And so anyone can join University of Michigan Credit Union. So I really want to open the door there. And a lot of questions that we get are, should I open a CD? What is a CD? Questions that we are starting to get a lot more from our student audience, which is really great. So those are two of the questions that I've heard a lot more this year.
And when you're talking about, kind of that next level of finance, right? When you're talking about, well, what do I need to be thinking of? Because I think there's this stigma that younger people don't necessarily think of the future. They're not thinking down the road or long term about how they should save or how they set themselves up for retirement. And in a lot of cases, they can't do all the things that maybe they want to do. But when you come into UMCU, one of the things that I've noticed is that everybody's very honest. So it's like, well, you don't quite make enough money yet to do this, but once you get to that level, we can look at it. Like, you're not putting people in bad spots based on where they're at now, or you're making sure that they are doing the things with the money that they should. I think that's a real separator from you and a lot of other credit unions or banking institutions.
Absolutely. We just did a financial literacy workshop with about 10 players from Team 145 earlier this year. And a big thing for that session with them was educating these players on the importance of a credit score, right? And, a lot of folks come into college with a thin credit file because they don't have any credit.
Sure.
So it's really educating to say, hey, here are some smart decisions we can make with our money now. here's the types of credit scores we're shooting for. Here's how you can build your credit score. And so absolutely, it's just really meeting members where they're at and helping them make the best financial decisions for them.
So if a Lions fan or a Wolverines fan comes in, do you have a card for them? Maybe they want to switch things up a little bit?
Absolutely. We are the only place to get that Block M or Winged Helmet debit card here at UMCU. You can get that easily at umcu.org or stop by any one of our branches. And then from a Lions perspective, so exciting. We just launched our Black Lions debit card, new uniform, new card. We also have 3 other Lions debit cards designs that are exclusive, and it's the only place you can get a Detroit Lions debit card.
It is very, very cool. Thank you for all that you're doing and being a good steward of really high-level football here in the state of Michigan. Rashmi Hurst, the AVP of Partnerships over at UMCU. Thank you, Rashmi.
Thanks for having me.
Paul W. here. I'm very excited to finally reveal our next dream vacation. In October 2025, Kim and I will be setting sail aboard the luxurious Seabourn Encore.
So what we're doing with SportsCaster.com is we're giving people a
and
platform, a community, all focused on sports broadcasting, whether it be a podcast, a piece of commentary, stirring it up with the other guys, the Michigan-Ohio State fans getting together on a particular issue and really going at it, whatever it may be, or a live play-by-play opportunity. People can go there, subscribe to the channels, enjoy their favorite sports broadcasters and their commentary and their content. And it's a great way for people to learn and hone their craft before they go out and, do it at the NFL or the college level.
Well, I think that's a great idea. I truly do. And it's going to help broadcasters. You asked me earlier, what should a young broadcaster do to get started? Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Find a way to get on that SportsCaster.com, get on that high school broadcast. And when you do, tape it so that you have an audition tape that you can send to some other outlet, wherever it is, and say, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I've done before. Like actors send out lists of credits. Yep. This is a movie I've done before. This is a voiceover I've done before. Same thing with SportsCaster.com. Get on that broadcast, find a way and do it, and then tape it. And then send it along so that someone else gets an opportunity. Who knows? You may get hired, and you're not just 1 week; you're 10 weeks in a row. And that's how you do it. It's hard. It doesn't pay a lot of money, but if you're really committed and you really want to do it, hopefully, there's nothing more rewarding. There's one of those things I tell people. I said, if you have a job you love, you don't work a day in your life. Yeah. Well, I'm guilty. And that's kind of what being a sports broadcaster, especially in play-by-play, I was very, very lucky to do that. But it starts out hard, but once you get there, it's very rewarding.
Good evening, everybody inside Belleville Stadium. 17-0 Tigers. Justin Rose in for Michael Spath and Jeff Sloan, joined by Cody Stedman, who's been up in the booth doing a nice job, our student broadcaster from Saline High School. And over on the end, it's Lyric Sloan, Michigan State University student as well, taking in the sights and the sounds of Friday Night Football. And 17-0 game, 7-0 Belleville, 5-2 Fordson. Are we shocked that the score's not higher, or what are we shocked about?
I'm shocked that the Fordson defense was able to hold the team up to a field goal. It was really surprising because 35 and close to the end zone inside Fordson's zone, and as soon as they were trying to go and push towards the end zone, throwing those passes straight up to the wide receivers, it does show a lot. They were able to hold them to a field goal, even though that there were 2 touchdowns up.
Absolutely. What did you think about that? I know you were up and down the sidelines watching this one, Lyric.
Yes, I was. I mean, you know what? I expected Belleville, obviously, to have a high score, but definitely in the first half, I did notice that Fordson definitely kept them to a stop. And, it kept them not being able to get a touchdown, but I'm not surprised what the score is during halftime.
If you're not familiar, you are watching the #1 recruit in the country, Bryce Underwood, the quarterback for the Belleville Tigers. And while he's had a couple of nice throws, he's only had a couple of opportunities to throw the football. Not really throwing the football down the field, but he is also carrying the football, and he's had 2 fumbles. Now, both of them, the Belleville Tigers were able to recover, but that's something obviously to look at for his performance. And I would say that they're underwhelmed by his first half performance. Would you guys agree with this from if you were the Belleville coaching staff?
Yeah, I'd agree. That would basically mean to me that there's some cracks you got to fill. Like if you're carrying the ball yourself, you're trying to lead it up, but then you fumble it close to the end zone.
That was right on the doorstep.
Yeah, that does show a lot, even though that Bryce Underwood is the #1 in the ESPN 300 and is the 5-star and #1 ranked by ESPN in the state of Michigan. It does show a lot. If he's fumbling balls, it does really show that teams like Saline, not saying that we beat them or anything, but it does show a lot that even with those teams, they can be able to slide through and get those points and maybe even tie the game.
I mean, Fordson really would have to come out here and have a totally different second half is what we've seen so far. So, of course, Lyric, you're going to be continuing on the sideline for our coverage here in the second half. She'll be joining us on the post-game show as well. Cody, you've got a long run. You got about 48 seconds to get up to the booth before the second half gets started. You think you can make it in time?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think it's going to make it in time. But we are going to make it in time for you guys as well because, whoa, by the way, the cookies. You already ate your cookie, right?
Where's my cookies? No, I'm kidding.
There you go. There you go. There's your cookie.
I'm kidding.
Touch of Love Cookies by Leslie Walton here in Belleville. Find her. Touch of Love Cookies LLC. She hooked us up here with some cookies, so we're giving it a little shout out here. All right, looking forward to Cody's second half call, Lyric. We'll look forward to talking to some of the winning players after the game right here at SportsCaster.com and WJR. But we're going to head up to the press box. Chris Renwick, he'll be back right after this.
Cooper, sometimes for, people like us up-and-coming broadcasters, we have our podcast coming up, Cooper and Carter, SportsCaster Original. There might not be places for us to post, but now we just have this opportunity.
It makes me smile.
Now we have SportsCaster, and oh, what a lovely place it is.
Okay, now you're getting me excited.
I am, because now we can post our podcast.
Sure.
We can post little clips.
Of course.
We can voice over, professional plays going on in the sports world. We can connect with people like Detroit Lions play-by-play Dan Miller. I mean, the opportunities are just endless, and I absolutely love it.
I absolutely love it as well, giving us an opportunity and experience that we only could have dreamed of, and now SportsCaster is giving it to us on a silver platter. That's what it does, and that's what it's here for. SportsCaster. We put the mic in your hands.
My name's Cody Stedman. I'm from Saline High School. I'm going to be broadcasting for the Saline team for WJR. I never really thought that sportscasting would be my thing. I was really going towards radio journalism and broadcast journalism. But hey, if this is on the road to it, might as well hit it.
The give, Rush cuts it upfield into the end zone. Touchdown, Saline. That's the magic I was just talking about.
The coolest thing about being with SportsCasters.com is that you get to know what the fans are talking about. You get to research what the team is thinking about even before the game starts. And being at the game, being able to report about the plays and knowing what the team is feeling like before you go into the game, it's a real big moment to
Game coverage in Southeast Michigan you need. The Drive to the Game. Sponsored by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Also sponsored by McLaren Healthcare. Once again, Chris Renwick.
Welcome back. Belleville on top, 17-0 here on senior night as they bid adieu to a number of really, really good football players. Some that are bound for college football at the D1 level. Of course, all led by Bryce Underwood, who has been as advertised. Chris Renwick here in the booth along with Taryn, Fritzshing, and Cody Stedman. It's good to have you both here. You know, I think that going into that half...
Do you guys see these fireworks?
We've got fireworks here over the stadium. How about that? Fireworks is something that we could see here in the second half. Now, Taryn, I want to start with you because you go into halftime, Fordson. They give up that 3 points to make it 17-0. But this is not an insurmountable lead. They're not down by 35 where you think, boy, we just don't have the time. You're down 17-0, still very much in the game, and they've shown at times the ability to move the football and defensively to make a couple of stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Belleville being the number 1 ranked team in the state, playoff points or not, being only down 17 heading into that second half is something that I think is so key. However, like I mentioned in the first half, Fordson is a little slow with their offense, but with only two quarters left to go in the game, they need to really start going.
Cody, offensively here for Belleville, they're going to start things off. What do you think? What are you thinking you're going to see here?
I'm thinking that the head coach and the offensive coach looked at the offensive team and really said to them, listen, that hold, that wasn't great. Let's strike them in a way so that they can't recover and get through their way and maybe even hold them to 0.
Ali Saad on the run up here, puts a foot on it. This one's not going to get to the end zone. Fielded at the 9-yard line. Coming back right side with some space. Out to the 30, to the 35, to the 40. Cuts it midfield. Still on his feet. Cutting it back to the right. At the 30, shedding a tackle. And then finally taken down at the 25-yard line. That is a big-time return for Dathan Bryson. Boy, oh boy, we saw fireworks. We get a little fireworks here on the opening kickoff to start the second half.
That is so large. Just what a way to start the game, really.
So Belleville now starts in plus territory at the Tractor 25. Just 14 seconds tick off the clock, up 17-0. They want more points immediately. Single coverage on the outside, wide side of the field. Ball near hash mark. Underwood to the shotgun. Sends a man in motion to the right. He's going to throw that way. Got a man. Cuts it upfield at the 20-yard line. Tackled inside. Charles Britton is the ball receiver. He'll pick up 7 to the 19-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 3.
I think we saw with that first play is that they really have a chance to push back and to really get in extra touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, saying that that first quarter wasn't our Belleville Tigers. This is our Belleville Tigers.
Underwood
pushing
takes,
them back
gives
and back
this
and back.
one up the middle, shedding tacklers into the end zone. Touchdown, Belleville. 2 offensive plays is all it takes. And the Tigers strike quickly here in the second half. Malik Murrell is the one to get this into the end zone from that running back spot. And Belleville up 23-0.
That is not something Fordson wants to see heading into the second half. You just had, a 15-minute halftime. Your guys should be well rested, and that just happens. That cannot feel good for that sideline over there.
Yeah, and I mean, you could almost see it developing immediately. There was just a ton of room. And with the smart runner, you're able to find that gap and hit it for big-time yards. It's exactly what Belleville did. Here's the extra point attempt. Up and good. So just 56 seconds into this second half, and Belleville expands the lead 24-0. Now, that does change things a little bit. 17-0, a little different. But with a quick strike here to start the second half, Belleville feels a little more comfortable here. And now Fordson on the other side offensively, they just got to find something going. And again, it starts with the little things. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. Just put a couple of first downs together. Move those sticks. That's how you piece these drives together.
Absolutely, and they've really shown it earlier this season. And so we know that they have it in them. They just need to show it against this Belleville defense.
So Belleville's got it teed up. They're going to kick this one away.
Braden Lame up at the return.
Here's the run up. Very slow, deliberate run up. Puts a foot on it. This one's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. So Fordson will start things off at their own 20-yard line. And defensively for Belleville, it just gives them some wiggle room here. It gives them some ability to play a little free as Bryce Underwood heads to the tunnel here. Didn't look like he was laboring at all, so we'll watch for him to come out from underneath the stands here. Meanwhile, Fordson goes to work offensively at their own 20-yard line. 11:04 to play here, third quarter. Good to have you along. Chris Renwick, Taryn, Fritzshing, and Cody Stedman here in the booth with me. So Awadala takes the snap, going to give to his back, pushes it forward, out to the 25-yard line for a gain of 5, and it's going to be 2nd and 5, and that's a productive run. It keeps that secondary honest. So where Awadala wants to take a shot deep, he can. Clock continues to run, 10:40 to play. All Belleville, 24-0. They send 2 receivers right, wide side of the field. Fordson moving right to left. Belleville with 4 down linemen. Awadala takes, keeps, pushes it forward, taken down at the 31-yard line, gain of 6 and a first down. Here comes back out from underneath the stands here, Bryce Underwood. He gets to that sideline, hands on his hips. The number 1 recruit in all of America resides here in Belleville, Michigan, playing for the Tigers. Taking their time as the Tractors. They just want to make sure they're getting this right. Send 2 receivers out left. Safety over top. Awadala to the shotgun, takes. Wants to step up in the pocket, sheds 1 tackle, and now he's going to be bottled up. Back inside the 30 at the 28-yard line, so he's going to lose yards. Call that a loss of 3, bring up 2nd and 13. Boy, he wanted to go take a shot down the field, pumped once, spun out of 1 sack attempt, and there was just nothing down the field, so he had to eat it. Bring up 2nd and 13. They huddle, get their play, and make their way to the line. 9 minutes on the clock. Fordson yet to find the end zone. They trail by 24. Awadala takes. Rolling backwards on a screen. Well tackled there. Boy, was he able to keep his feet and pick up a couple? Yeah, he was, but there was just nothing there. I love the play design, love the call on the screen, but that was just snuffed out by the Tigers.
Yeah, Dean Hamoud was the one that went down pretty hard from this Belleville defense, and it's something that Fordson really has to adjust to. Later in this game, in order to keep them scoreless, Belleville has to push back and keep them away from the half.
So 3rd and 12. Big 3rd down here for the Tractors. Awadala takes, throws over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Adam Darwish, nobody home. And Fordson's going to have to punt it away with 8 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter.
It's that kind of stress that will keep Fordson scoreless unless they pull something out of their sleeve and they surprise Belleville with something. But it looks like Bryce Underwood is close to the sideline, and he is eager to get back on the field.
You've got Kendall Franklin, their backup quarterback, 6'1", 210, the sophomore, throwing down here. So we'll have to see if Underwood makes his way back out. He's standing there with that first unit offense. Maybe Kendall just making sure he's loose. They bring this one back off the hop, out at the 30, right side, and then pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Hard tackle there. Good stuff, some pushing, shoving here over on this Belleville sideline. No flags. So Belleville takes over at their own 40, and Bryce Underwood back out with this offense.
Yeah, what a good hold by Ali Haidar. He was able to find where the returner was, able to get him bottle up near the end of this field, and he was able to pull him down and tackle him to hold him right at the 40-yard line.
So they spot it near hash mark. Underwood operates from the shotgun. The vast majority of his snaps come from that shotgun position. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Motion man coming to the right. Underwood takes, gives, pushes it up the middle. Good run there. Kamari Westbrook, Trenton Foley on the carry. Picks up 6 yards out to the 46.
I'm really intrigued by this run game that Belleville has going tonight because we know that Bryce can throw. We've seen it in person, but he's really just been giving it off to the running backs, and that's what I think is really interesting about this game.
Clock continues to run. 7:15 to play. Underwood gives it again. Up the middle. Hard running there. First down inside Fordson territory to the 46. A gain of 10. And this is something that Belleville does. They'll just churn you on the ground and lean on that offensive line. They rotate a whole host of running backs in. That time, Amari Martin on the carry. So first down and 10 from the Fordson 46. Motion man left to right. Underwood to the shotgun. Takes that high snap and able to get it out to his receiver out to the right. That's Adrian Walker on the reception. Trey Graham on the catch there. So brings up second down and 2 after a gain of 8. They get to the line. Belleville doesn't do a whole lot of huddling. They keep that same formation. 2 receivers left, 2 right. No motion man this time. Nope, check that. Here he comes. Underwood fakes it to him, then gives to his back, trying that left side. Dathan Bryson on the carry, and he's swallowed up. Nice tackle there. Mamel Alashemi made the stop. So brings up second down and 2. Gain of 8 on the play. They're just taking chunk yards on the ground.
If that's what it takes to hold this Fordson defense and be able to slide right by them to get more score, I think that's the good play for Belleville. That's how they're able to keep Fordson scoreless, and that's how they're able to hold that 8-0 win-lose score.
Underwood takes it himself on the right side, pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line. He is just so hard to bring down. He picks up that first down yardage, 6'3", 190. And Taryn, there's a lot of playoff implications on the line here, aren't there?
Absolutely. I mean, these teams will most likely both be in the playoffs. We know that Belleville has had their eye on the playoffs for quite a while, but we will end up seeing Dearborn Fordson because Belleville is ranked second in the state with playoff points because that is something that has been implicated recently, and Dearborn Fordson is 17.
Here's a give on that left side, big hole. Able to get down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Another first down here for Belleville. Where does Dearborn Fordson sit?
They are sitting at 17, so right in front of Clarkston, which I believe is huge.
Yes.
and they are sitting right behind Cass Tech. So they are really at a great spot, and Belleville is sitting right behind Howell. Howell is playing Brighton right now.
Rivalry game there.
They most likely, depending on how this game goes, the KLA East and West could potentially have a match next week.
Interesting. So meanwhile, Belleville here sends 3 receivers to the right. Ball far hash mark moving left to right. Underwood takes, gives, running back into the end zone. Did he get in? No, they're going to say he's down at the 1-yard line. It's a good carry there. Raymond Smith Jr. gets him down inside the 5 to the 1, and it's 1st and goal from there as we reach the 4:30 mark here of this third quarter. So they make a couple of substitutions here. Bring in a bit of a heavier set here. So ball spotted at the 1. Belleville could really blow this thing open here if they get this into the end zone. Look at this formation. Underwood under center. He's got 5 guys in the backfield. Now they split up. They take the Wildcat snap. Flag makes one man miss into the end zone, but we got to check this flag. I think somebody jumped on that. Yep, that's exactly what happened. So they motioned 4 players. 2 went to that up back position as blockers on the right side, and then a couple went out to the edges of that formation. You had Raymond Smith stayed in the backfield taking that Wildcat snap, but got a little too cute there. So it's 1st and goal from the 6 on the penalty.
I think it's that kind of surprise that Belleville's trying to send back to Fordson saying, hey, I know you're trying to surprise me, and I can read what you're trying to do right now, so let me surprise you with something.
Well, and as a result, Belleville wants to talk this thing over. So Underwood on the motion runs up under center. He goes under center and then kind of motioned to his right. So I think it was when he slid over to make room for the center to snap it back to the running back. That's where that penalty happened. So 3:44 to play here in the third quarter here. And you know there are so many good players on this Belleville team, and I know we harp on it a little bit, but when you've got the number 1 recruit in all of America on this team, he's bound to make guys better. And when you look at some of the guys that are on this team, some of the guys that have really good futures ahead of them. We know what Bryce Underwood's like, right? But he's going down to the SEC. The SEC is a tough place to play, especially down in the Bayou with LSU. But you look at somebody like Elijah Dotson going to play with Pat Narduzzi at Pitt. This is somebody who has big-time pedigree.
Yeah, and this Belleville team has 3 guys all going to Miami of Ohio. So it'll really just be a big Belleville reunion down there.
A recruiting hotbed for Miami of Ohio. All right, 1st and goal from the 6. Here's a give. Left side. Bryce Underwood was throwing his hands up like it was a touchdown, but it'll get cut down shy of the goal line at the 1-yard line. Looks like we've got a player down.
Ooh.
The referees were motioning that staff over. Hard to see who it is. Looks like a big fella, so could be somebody on that offensive line. And you get some of the folks from Belleville coming out to take a look at him. So he remains down at about the 5-yard line. They're looking at him, potentially a leg. He hasn't moved a ton. Hard to see from our vantage point where it is or who it is. Looks like they're working on that left leg. So potentially a bit of cramping. Hopefully would be the best case scenario. 3:36 here in the third quarter. It's all Belleville, 24-0. Looking at a 2nd and goal situation here from about the 2. So when you look at when you look at this Fordson team, right? Belleville has playoff aspirations. They've got state championship aspirations. Fell a little short last year, but it's been a long time since Fordson's won a state title.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last time that Fordson won a state championship was 1993.
You weren't even born yet.
I was not born.
Well, Cody was like 7 or 8.
I wasn't born either, Chris. I was born in 07, class of 25.
Oh, my gosh. That's when I graduated high school.
However, I was very much alive for both of Bellevilles. So in 21 and 22, they just fell short to a now struggling Southfield A&T team.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's see if Belleville can punch it in. Under 3:30 to play. Underwood takes that low snap, gives it right to the heart of that line into the end zone for a touchdown and some extracurriculars afterwards.
Whoa.
We don't see any flags yet. You got Belleville players pulling Belleville players, and here comes
two flag.
I can't tell if that was part of the fireworks show that we saw here to start the second half. We had an explosion of laundry down near the 5-yard line.
I think they wanted to add some yellow to the show.
That's it. That's exactly right. So we're going to get some personal fouls here on both sides would be my guess. You had a couple of Belleville players trying to peel off some of their own guys. But things got a little testy down there, and that's what happens. A couple of proud programs, a couple of teams with a lot of talent, playoff aspirations, state championship aspirations. And for Fordson, look, things have not gone according to plan tonight. No. And look, the touchdown's going to stand, and we'll have an extra point attempt. We'll see where that happens from, depending on these flags. So, a couple of personal fouls here. They'll negate. Touchdown stands, as we mentioned, as we get the official word from the crew here. But things have not gone according to plan here for the Tractors, and understandably, things can get a little chippy when you're dealing with a couple of proud programs. So that touchdown stands, 30-0.
And
extra point pending.
I don't think this is anything that Fordson should get down on at all, because if you really look at just their record this season, I mean, they are 5-2. That is nothing to be ashamed of, and they have
and even more so. They started off rocky. They were 0-2, and then they rattled off 5 straight wins. So they overcame some adversity to get to this point.
Because having that loss to Macomb Dakota, a great team, that will absolutely make the playoffs. And then their conference rivals, Lincoln Franklin.
Yep.
That's something that you might want to be worried about, but then 5 straight is nothing to be ashamed of.
So we've got some communication here with both sidelines. I think Fordson was wondering if this extra point attempt should be taken from its normal spot, but I think the crew pretty well summed it up that these were offsetting personal foul calls. So they're going to snap it from there. Everybody lined up. Here's the snap. A little high, but corralled, and then up through the upright. So 31-0, all Belleville here in this one. You know, Cody, I'm curious to know from a Fordson perspective, what do they take away from a game like this?
I think at this moment in time, if the game ended right now, if it ended right now and it's 31-0, that shows that at least there was a little bit of pushback. You were able to push back. You weren't able to score, but you're able to show that pushback. You're able to show Belleville's crack starting to form before the postseason. That does bring out a lot for this team.
And look, still a lot of time left, quarter plus here in this one. So lots of time here for Fordson as they can try to get on the board here in this next possession. So Braden Lane will put this one on a tee. He's getting the troops where they need to be. They're staying huddled on this kickoff. Lane just trying to manage where everybody needs to go. Everybody gets their spot. He settles in to his stance, walks up very slowly, then starts the trot and then puts a leg into it. And that one's going to take a roll at about the 3-yard line into the back of the end zone for a touchback. So now Fordson coming back out, trying to find some offensive momentum here late third quarter, down 31-0. And Cody, I thought you brought up a good point. If the game were ended today, you probably don't feel great about it, right? You go in, you say, all right, it was senior night in Belleville. We got a hostile environment, lots of people in the stands, and we just didn't play the way we wanted to. On the flip side, I think what the coaching staff would like to see is that pushback that you talked about, that want. You got to want to get those points. Good defense. You know what this offense is going to do to you at Belleville, but offensively, you got to find some rhythm. You got to find an answer, and it starts with the coaching staff putting him in a good position and then execution on the field.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw even with the personal fouls called on both sides. We saw that the Fordson players weren't happy that they were able to push through and get that touchdown. There was some pushing, there was some shoving, and it does show that things aren't going the way that they planned on doing it. They were hoping for some kind of score here, even with the number one team in the state right now.
Awadala keeps that one, so he'll push forward for 5 yards, brings up 2nd down and 5. They huddle and break. Awadala to the shotgun. 2 receivers to the left. His big tight end on the flanking the left side of that formation. Takes, gives with a hole. Up the middle, bouncing off tacklers, and finally drugged down at about the 33-yard line. So a gain of 8 on that run gives Fordson a fresh set. And that's exactly what you want to see. Keep that run honest. You want to keep that secondary of Belleville close. You don't want to give them that cushion to where they can sit back and wait for you to take a shot down the field. You want to make sure that run game is running, and so far on this drive, Fordson finding some success. Awadala to the shotgun, settles in. Dean Hamoud in the backfield with him. Awadala takes, looking to the right.
Ooh.
Going up top, looking for his receiver, and he's got it. That's Mustafa Al-Janabi hauls that one in, and that was a wonderful throw into the bucket by Awadala.
There's a big connection between our QB Awadala and Al-Janabi. They were able to have some good throws in the first half, and especially with that one, they were able to find that sweet spot again and gain more than 15, 20 yards.
You know, I think most people underestimate how difficult of a throw that is. First of all, you got to credit Elijah Dotson in that coverage. He was right on his hip. If he didn't throw that into a bucket 25 yards down the field, it's incomplete. So you credit Awadala on that throw. That's a good, big-time throw. So now inside Belleville territory at the 35, gets it to Al-Janabi again. Inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Another positive gain of 6, brings up 2nd and 4.
I would really just like to see this Fordson offense build off of that play, because we saw it earlier and that they punted in the end. And that's not something that you want to see, especially this far into the third quarter with only about a minute left. And I would just really like to see them in the end zone. I think that their morale on the other side would definitely boost, but not enough to come back from a 31-point deficit.
Awadala takes, fakes the sweep, gives to his back, and absolutely buried behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose 2. Oh my gosh, that a heck of a play from that interior defensive line. Lamar Fairfax Jr., 6'2", 250, blew it up.
I think we did see here up in the press booth, there was a ton of shaking, a ton of noise coming from this sideline and especially from below the press box here. People love this team, and they see these kind of plays, and they go as, that's the person that I know. He's doing so well, and even with that kind of play, they can be able to hope for maybe a scoreless Fordson here.
So 3rd and 7, last play of the quarter. Awadala finds his safety man inside the 30. It was a quick little pass out to the flat. That's Khalil Bander who comes up with it. Tackled shy of the first down, so coming up on the other side. Big 3rd down here. Check that. Big 4th down here for Fordson. But it's all Belleville. They're up 31-0. We'll take a break. 4th quarter action coming up on our Drive to the Game coverage, brought to you by our Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. 4th quarter coming your way next.
Cooper, sometimes for, people like us, up-and-coming broadcasters, we have our podcast coming up, Cooper and Carter, SportsCaster Original. There might not be places for us to post, but now we just have this opportunity.
It makes me smile.
Now we have SportsCaster, and oh, what a lovely place it is.
Okay, now you're getting me excited.
I am, because now we can post our podcast. We can post little clips.
Of course.
We can voice over, professional plays going on in the sports world. We can connect with people like Detroit Lions play-by-play Dan Miller. I mean, the opportunities are just endless, and I absolutely love it.
I absolutely love it as well, giving us an opportunity and experience that we only could have dreamed of, and now SportsCaster is giving it to us on a silver platter. That's what it does, and that's what it's here for. SportsCaster. We put the mic in your hands.
My name's Cody Stedman. I'm from Saline High School. I'm going to be broadcasting for the Saline team for WJR. I never really thought that sportscasting would be my thing. I was really going towards radio journalism and broadcast journalism. But hey, if this is on the road to it, might as well hit it.
The give, Rush cuts it upfield into the end zone. Touchdown, Saline. That's the magic I was just talking about.
The coolest thing about being with SportsCasters.com is that you get to know what the fans are talking about. You get to research what the team is thinking about even before the game starts. And being at the game, being able to report about the plays and knowing what the team is feeling like before you go into the game, it's a real big moment to
On that 4th down, they convert, so they pick up the 1st down. Fresh set here at the Belleville 25. Awadala settles in, takes, fakes, gives it. Back to the line of scrimmage at the 25, almost a wing T look there. Flipped around and gave it to Khalil Bander, but he gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd and 10.
Down by number 23, Reginald Woods. No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10.
These teams are accustomed to seeing each other. What's the all-time record in this one?
The all-time record is Fordson, 25-18 over Belleville. So 419 if you were on the Belleville side, a 581 if you're on the Fordson side, which I actually find that interesting, but way before the Bryce Underwood era.
Yes.
Belleville was not a great team, but we've seen them on the uprise, which is great to see.
Awadala calls for it, gets it, pressured, sacked. Back near the 30-yard line. They'll spot it at the 29, but he was absolutely snowed under. Just that front four for Belleville has been they have been so stout today. So it's going to be third down, and we'll call it 13. Check that, 3rd and 14 from the 29-yard line.
Not to.
Looks like maybe there's a fire.
Yeah.
Over.
That is,
on the
I
other
believe,
side
near
of the
early education building?
Yeah.
I think that is. I just saw some of the lights, and then I saw the smoke.
There's some
and
smoke coming
I don't
from
know.
over
And there's
if
more
that's gonna
police
stop
heading
the
over
game.
there.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Man.
All right, meanwhile, 9:18 to play here in the fourth. We'll keep an eye on that. Awadala takes 5-step drop, wants to go to the end zone. That's intercepted at the 3-yard line. Some jawing, some talking. Here comes the flag.
2 flags fly up.
But for as good of a couple of throws as Awadala has had on that drive, this time he underthrew that one quite a bit. And you've got Elijah Dotson waving goodbye to the Fordson sideline with just over 9 minutes to play. They take over inside their own 5-yard line, up 31-0. So you've got some first responders over here trying to tend to this fire.
I don't want to feel like a Debbie Downer or anything, but that may or may not interrupt the game at this point in time, but it is a fair distance from the field.
Yeah, it's a fair distance from the field, and there are authorities there on the scene, so they're tending to that. Meanwhile, Bryce Underwood and company backed up near their own goal line, up 31-0. Calls for it, gets it, gives it up the middle, get a little bit of that breathing room out past the 5-yard line to the 11, just kept churning those legs. That's a heck of a run. Deep in your own zone, gives you a little space to operate. Gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 2. I can't tell.
It looks like it's dying down over there.
It does look like it's dying down. That might be from where the fireworks were coming from.
I don't think so. I saw the fireworks come up
a little closer
near the end zone, inside the field here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a
coming from that general direction, but yeah, they're working on that. Meanwhile, Belleville working on the field, gain of 3 on the run, gives them a first down out to the 16-yard line.
You know, I find it impressive that Belleville has been able to adjust to their new head coach, Calvin Norman. This is his 2nd year. He was an assistant head coach, and then he coached at Detroit Cody for about 10 years. And to be 13-1 and now 7-0 in his first 2 seasons is extremely impressive.
Here's a big run here for Raymond Smith. We've got late flags coming in, Belleville clapping their hands. So could potentially be on Fordson, a little extracurricular from potentially their defensive end. That's Raymond Snow coming off the edge, the junior. So that'll tack on a few extra for Belleville. I'll put 15 on that one. So they'll spot it this time at the 42-yard line. And Belleville on the move once again. Boy, Bryce Underwood has been, as advertised, the #1 player in all of America coming out of high school. Composed, well coached, calls for it and gets it, throws this one out to the flat. And again, that's a college level throw. Why? Because he didn't lead his receiver upfield. It was just a little quick throw out to the flat. Charles Britton Jr. hauled it in. It's only a gain of 2, but what did he do on that play? He threw it low and outside. So there was no danger, there was no anything. He was able to put it in a place where his receiver could get it, and only his receiver. Made a good play on the ball. They pick up 2, 2nd and 8. Underwood back to action from the shotgun. Some patient running here out to the 45-yard line, so just a gain of 1.
Well,
That's Brandon Allen on the carry.
If Belleville ends up scoring, I would not be surprised if they end up putting in Kendall Franklin for the last few plays, just because it's your senior night. It's Bryce Underwood, and at that point, you'd most likely be up 38-0. So, and I did see him practicing on the sideline here a lot, so I think he's up and ready, but I think Bryce still wants to stay in there.
He is the ultimate competitor. He stays in the game. They send a motion man right to left. Underwood calls for it. 5-step drop, wants to unload. Got a man. Incomplete. He was leading Antoine Thomas just a hair too much, and Thomas tried to turn on the Jets there at about the 15-yard line, but couldn't come under it, and it falls incomplete, and it's 4th down, and Belleville's going to punt it away.
I think I've seen a little bit of a pattern on how this game is going. Quarter, 7 for a score for Belleville. Second quarter, 10. Third quarter, 14. I feel like if they have enough time, they might be able to score a little bit more than 14 points, but at this moment in time, I don't think they're going to get more than 7.
Yeah, it's a race against the clock now. It's a possession game, and from Fordson's perspective, you wonder how many more opportunities you're going to get to put this thing either in the end zone or between the uprights. So here's the punt. It's a good one. It's going to take a Belleville hop and then field it at the 15, spun down shy of the 20-yard line. That's good coverage down the field by that special teams unit. Derek Taylor made the tackle, the sophomore. It's a good stop, and Fordson takes over at their own 19-yard line. So you've got first responders, police, fire out over near a far building, certainly within eye shot of us here in the booth. Kind of smoke billowing out, still see the flames. It's hard to tell from here what exactly is on fire, but something is burning over there, and they're tending to that.
The fact that they were able to get it at such an early stage, the fire truck's pulling up right now as we speak, that's really big.
So Fordson back to work. Tractor starting this drive near sideline, near hash mark, moving left to right, and they're all blues, yellow helmets. Awadala takes, gives up the middle, still on his feet, pushing forward out to the 25-yard line, taken down at the 29-yard line, gain of 10 and a first down.
Number 10, the ball carrier, Hamoud. He brought down by number 34 of the Tigers.
Dean Hamoud on the carry there, gets 9 and enough for a first down, so 1st and 10 here for Fordson. Not operating with a ton of urgency, as you'd imagine, down 31-0, just 5:30 to play here in this one. Fordson wants to find points before the end of this game. Awadala to the shotgun takes, giving you a little bit of a wing tee look. They give to Hamoud, who gains nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage. A little bit of pushing and shoving, but no flags on that play, so it's going to be 2nd down and 10.
A quick update. It looks like a fire truck has arrived at the building outside of our field, and it looks like with more of the steam coming out, it looks like the fire was most likely set out.
So 2nd and 10 here for Fordson at their own 29. 4:30 to play. Belleville up 31-0. Looking to stay perfect on the season. They give it to Hamoud again. We've got a lid on the ground and a flag on the play. Gain of 1 out to the 30. That's it. There was a Belleville helmet that came off. No signal yet from this crew. So that is the helmet belonging to Deshaun Murray, the defensive end linebacker hybrid, 6'3", 230. He's got the size. He'll have to come off for a play. And the crew still talking this one over. Is it a hands to the face? Is it a face mask? How did that thing come off? That's going to be a face mask call. And it looks like Belleville will accept that, so that'll move them back instead of 3rd and 10. They'll move them back, and it'll be 3rd and 15 now as they spot this one at the 16-yard line. Belleville ready to go. Fordson huddles. Clock rolls, 4:13. They look to the sideline for that call. Awadala gets it, runs to that huddle, and makes that communication with his offense. They break and get to the line. They're showing a same kind of wing T formation, 3 men in the backfield. Awadala got a man open, got it at the 35-yard line, still on his feet, tiptoeing along the sideline, and then finally forced out of bounds in plus territory at the 47-yard line. Good coverage there from Aaron Jones, who was able to close the gap, but not before a big-time gain there. Hauling it in is Ahmed Alabrihi. Gets to the 48-yard line of Belleville. Clock continues to run, 3:28. Fordson looking for points. They've been left barren in this one. They're scoreless. They trail it 31-0.
You know, entering with only 3 minutes left, I don't know if we're going to see a score from Fordson. They have to pull something out, and they got to surprise something. And it looks like
and we got a timeout here. Fordson's going to take a timeout. Want to talk that one over. It was a little sweep out to the left. Dean Hamoud was the recipient, but Fordson got that timeout in before the play. So they stopped the clock. 3:06 to play here in the fourth quarter. Belleville up 31-0. And now, from Belleville's perspective, right, you're 8-0. You've accomplished everything that you wanted to thus far. And now it's trying to figure out who you play next week.
Yeah. And again, it'll most likely depend on the Brighton and Howell game, which is a huge game. But going over to the Fordson side, Coach Fuhad Zaban is no stranger to the playoffs. 18 years of coaching, he will take Fordson to the playoffs for his 17th year.
Wow.
Not in a row, but to even have that statistic as a head coach is mind-boggling.
It's the model of consistency for sure. Looks like they've put that fire out pretty well at this point. You just hope everybody is safe over there in one of those far buildings that we can see from the press box. Here's a give, left side, cutting it in. Oh, that ball's out. That ball's out, and I think that Belleville's got it, and they do. Returned it out to the Fordson 45-yard line. They'll spot it at the 44. But that might do it for Fordson's opportunity here to put points on the board. 2:53 to play here on senior night in Belleville, and it's been all Tigers. They lead at 31-0.
Yeah, I saw, I believe, Ali Saad still on the ground, not injured, but
disbelief
that the ball was able to get out, and it seems that they're going to start here at the 45-yard line.
And that thing just popped up right in the air, about 4 feet above the players' heads. And now Bryce Underwood here on senior night, the LSU commit, takes a high snap, wants to take a shot, got a man wide open at the 20-yard line, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. Bryce Underwood connects for 45 yards.
I think we can see that play right there by Bryce Underwood and by number 8, Remind me his name again.
Number 6, Charles Britton, hauled that one in.
With Charles Britton, I think that cements the game. I don't think that Fordson is going to get any extra games or any extra plays off of this. And really, I think that wraps up the game with about 2 minutes, 43 seconds left in this fourth quarter.
Well, we got to check things out here. So I think there was a flag on the play, and they're actually going to move them back.
Wow.
So that'll take the touchdown off.
Oh, wow.
So they'll move them back. False start on the offense. I don't know that it's a false start. They're moving them back. Let's see where they spot it. So it's a 10-yard penalty. So it's a holding call. So it moves them back 10 yards. So the touchdown goes off the board. They spot the ball at the Belleville 45 on the 10-yard penalty. Underwood from the shotgun. He's got trips left. Ball far hash mark. Takes. Gives it to his back very nonchalantly. Running forward is Brandon Allen, who picks up a big chunk of those penalty yards back. So it's going to be looking at about 13 yards to get that first down out to the 35-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 13. So Underwood stays into the game. Senior night here for him and his fellow seniors. They send 3 receivers tight to the formation outright. Underwood surveys the defense, calls for it, wants to throw over the middle, got a man. That one's caught inside the 40-yard line, out to the 36, just a yard shy of the first down. Clock continues to run. $1:50 to play here in the fourth quarter. Belleville wants more. They rock that same formation. 3 receivers right, tight to the formation. Underwood takes. Boy, he wants another one. Throws it downfield, looking for Tayshawn Taylor, but it falls incomplete. Great coverage there. Babo Diallo right on the hip. Incomplete. It's 4th and 1. And Bryce Underwood says, no, we're going for it. It's senior night. We're staying out on the field. And the coach, Calvin Norman, says, all right, let's do it. 4th and 1. What's the call? 3 receivers right. Underwood settles in, takes the snap. Oof. And we've got a timeout. Belleville wants to talk it over. It was just a little bit of a wide snap there for Bryce Underwood. Stuck that right hand out about 1.5 foot, had to corral that snap, and he was able to. And now with $1:33 to play, up 31, they want to keep this thing, run this thing down. And I think they're going to continue to stay on offense here.
Yeah, there was a little bit of back and forth between Bryce Underwood and I think was the offensive coordinator. They were saying that Bryce says, hey, let me keep it. Let me please keep it. And the offensive coordinator says, no, you got to stay back. We need to pull out the special teams. And then he said, no, let me just stay. And then they called a timeout. And it looks like that they're going back out for the 4th and 1.
Offense coming back on the field, 4th and 1. Crowd continues to stay alive here at Belleville. Underwood to the shotgun. It's 4th and 1. And now we've got a timeout. Fordson. This is the gamesmanship amongst these two teams as they try to play a little bit with the coaching staffs now. And look, Fordson, things have not gone according to plan. They're down 31-0, haven't found any points this game, and certainly you got to credit Belleville. But this is a proud program too, and this coaching staff, in a teachable moment, showing their team that despite the score, despite how much time's left on the field, they got a job to do, and they're going to continue to do it until the clock reaches triple zeros.
Yeah. And it seems that – oh, and a flag just went out.
Now we got a flag. Oh, boy. And that came out basically in the huddle as the team was starting to break the huddle to go back out on the field, and now there's words with the coaching staff and this crew.
I keep seeing fingers
Fingers
from the white
pointing.
hat
Yep.
saying, go back to the sideline.
And whatever that was unnecessary. I mean, whatever happened, I mean, you're looking at a 4th and 1. You're up 31-0 from a Belleville perspective. Whatever was said, whatever was done, and the head referee is just telling the staff, get back to the sideline. Now we got another flag.
Oh, boy.
So the staff now with words for the crew. So unsportsmanlike, 2 penalties. Oh, and somebody got tossed. I think the head coach just got tossed here on senior night. And he's walking off the field.
Not really a lot of good angles from this minute 30 left in this fourth quarter. There isn't any scores on any sides. I don't know how this game is going to end with the minute 30, but without the head coach, I don't think it's going to end pretty well for either side.
Bryce Underwood now talking to one of the officials as the head coach walks off. He's standing at the pylon on the right side of the booth here. So they'll spot the ball now. Instead of 4th and 1, it's 4th and, I don't know, maybe to Canton from here? At the 34-yard line. And that's where they'll run it. And now here comes the special teams unit for Belleville as they're going to punt this thing away. So the head coach here for Belleville, Calvin Norman, is just standing on the far pylon. So he's on the right side of the stadium. He got ejected. And he's going to wait until this thing comes to an end. So it's 4th and 30. Now we got another flag. It's going to be a delay of game, so that'll move him back another 5 yards. So a little bit of
a weird ending.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird ending, and it's unfortunate because it didn't need to happen. Whatever the flag was on the initial jawing from a coach or a player didn't need to happen. They were breaking the huddle to get back to the line for a 4th and 1 play, and then the head coach gets into it with the officiating crew. He gets tossed, and now here's the punt. Fair catch called for and made at the 41-yard line. So some extracurriculars on the back end as well, but no flags. 1:26 to play. Fordson takes over at their own 41. So now Belleville was kicking right to left. Calvin Norman, the head coach, was over on the right side near the pylon. So he is hypothetically standing in the direction that Fordson's going to be moving. Now that clock is running. Not sure why the clock is running. They haven't stopped it. 1:13 and 1:10 as it continues to roll. I don't know that the Fordson staff sees it. That clock should have been stopped until this first offensive snap on this series, but it's rolling under a minute now. Awadala goes under center. He's just going to take a knee. So 43 seconds left here, and Belleville is going to win here on senior night, and not only win emphatically as they shut out the Tractors 31-0, much to the delight of this crowd. And they are going into the locker room. Belleville heading into the locker room. Fordson lining up to shake hands. The coaching staff for the Tigers, at least some of them, are going over to shake hands. And that's just not really something you want to see. But Belleville players waving across the field, Elijah Dotson waving goodbye. And coaches saying, get in the locker room, let's go. But no ceremonial handshake here at the end of this game. It's all Belleville here on senior night. They stay perfect on the season, 8-0, as they blank Fordson 31-0. Taryn, Fritzshing, and Cody Stedman, thank you guys. Great job tonight. It's good to have you both in the booth.
Thanks so much, Chris.
All right, that's going to do it for us. I'm Chris Renwick saying so long here from Belleville High School. The Tigers win this one 31-0. We got post-game action coming your way here on WJ. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.
So what we're doing with SportsCaster.com is we're giving people a platform, a community, all focused on sports broadcasting, whether it be a podcast, a piece of commentary, stirring it up with the other guys, the Michigan-Ohio State fans getting together on a particular issue and really going at it, whatever it may be, or a live play-by-play opportunity. People can go there, subscribe to the channels, enjoy their favorite sports broadcasters and their commentary and their content. And it's a great way for people to learn and hone their craft before they go out and, do it at the NFL or the college level.
Well, I think that's a great idea. I truly do, and it's going to help broadcasters. You asked me earlier, what should a young broadcaster do to get started? Exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Find a way to get on that SportsCaster.com, get on that high school broadcast, and when you do, tape it, so that you have an audition tape that you can send to some other outlet, wherever it is, and say, hey, this is what I can do. This is what I've done before. Like actors send out lists of credits. Yep. This is a movie I've done before. This is a voiceover I've done before. Same thing with SportsCaster.com. Get on that broadcast, find a way and do it, and then tape it, and then send it along so that someone else gets an opportunity. Who knows, you may get hired, and you're not just 1 week, you're 10 weeks in a row. And that's how you do it. It's hard. It doesn't pay a lot of money. But if you're really committed and you really want to do it, hopefully, there's nothing more rewarding. There's one of those things I tell people, I said, if you have a job you love, you don't work a day in your life. Yeah. Well, I'm guilty. And that's kind of what being a sports broadcaster, especially in play-by-play, I was very, very lucky to do that. But it starts out hard, but once you get there, it's very rewarding.
Good evening, everyone. Friday night, week 8 of the high school football season now in the rearview mirror. The Belleville Tigers victorious over Dearborn Fordson 31-0. A little chippiness, as Chris Renwick in the booth told you about. Belleville players not staying out to shake hands with Fordson. The coaching staff did, but a little bit of chirping both ways and to keep everybody's heads cool. Probably for the best of the Belleville Tigers, just went to the locker room. Hopefully we'll be joined by a couple of their players today as they continue their undefeated season, 8-0, and it has not been close in a lot of these games. As Chris talked about during the broadcast quite frequently, another shutout victory for the Belleville Tigers. And for good reason, they're number 1 in Division I, the number 1 team ranked in the state of Michigan, and they are on a collision course to getting back to Ford Field and avenge the loss to Southfield A&T from a season ago. Big reason for that is their quarterback. Bryce Underwood, the top-ranked prospect in all of high school football in the entire country, let alone the state of Michigan. Haven't seen that in this part of the world in quite some time to have the number 1 overall recruit. And he looked like it. He looks every bit the part, at least on paper, even in person. I'm 6'1", 200 pounds. He's 6'4", 220, and we're not the same size, like, at all. He is a big kid. He can move. He can run with the football, as we saw throughout this entire game as well. Little ball security issues. He fumbled twice when getting taken down on some of those quarterback keepers, but Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers hopefully will get that cleaned up for him as he heads down to start his collegiate career in the spring, and then obviously the next 4 or 5 years down in Baton Rouge, if that is where he ends up playing his college football. But a lot of good things to take away from this game for Belleville, and some good things to take away from Dearborn Fordson. Let's start with the visiting Tractors. Obviously, undermanned in this game is every team that plays the Belleville Tigers. When you have as much talent as they do on both sides of the ball, at all the different levels of the offense and the defense, it's going to be tough to slow them down. But Fordson did a good job forcing them to just a field goal at the end of the first half to keep it a 17-0 game. And then right out of the bat in the second half, Belleville took the football down on the first drive of the game, put the ball into the end zone in short order, and from there the route was pretty much on. But Bryce Underwood, not throwing the ball, had an opportunity to talk to one of the assistant athletic directors for Belleville, and he had told me, as we were saying, why are there more highlight throws from Bryce Underwood? He's the best quarterback in the country. You'd think they'd air it out a little bit more. I do not have the stat sheet in front of me, but I can tell you I do not believe that Bryce threw the football more than 15 times this entire game, and I don't think he threw a completion for more than 20 yards, if my memory serves me correctly. Again, do not have the stats in front of me, so do not quote me on that. But I will say that I said that to the assistant athletic director, and he said, this is the least amount of throwing plays we've had all season long. I think that was a little bit by design, knowing that they were going to be able to take care of Fordson with the ground game, and they had a good-looking ground game. They certainly were able to run the football pretty well with Malik Morrell. He did a great job finding holes, and Ramon Smith, he's a 5'11", 200-pounder, and he continued to find the edge over and over again. It's almost like Belleville ran that same sweep play to the weak side each and every time, and they were able to continue to get first down after first down, churn the clock as this game just a little over 2 hours in length, but the clock kept on moving throughout the entire time. So obviously plenty of talent to go along with Bryce Underwood on this team, a defensive back that's going to be headed to play for a MAC program and then a Big Ten program. So we have plenty of players that are going to be doing big things at the next level coming from this Belleville squad. And that's Calvin Norman is just continuing the tradition that was started here anyways. So this will be one of those games where not a ton of highlight plays from either team really, but it's a win for the Belleville Tigers. They moved to 8-0, and of course the regular season in high school just 9 games long, so only one more week of the regular season before the playoff push gets underway. Now, Fordson, they're 5-3 with a game to go, not completely eliminated from playoff contention, and that's a good football team. I saw a lot of things from Fordson today that I thought was that's a good football team, but when you're playing against a Belleville Tiger team that can beat you in so many different ways, they outsize you at almost every position, you're going to have a hard time stopping that and slowing that down, and that's exactly what we saw in this one. So kudos to Fordson, kudos to Belleville for getting it done with the win. And hopefully Fordson will be able to learn from this one. One more week to go, get another win, get in the playoffs, and that's when anything can happen, of course. But Belleville still remains at the top of Division I. And I do want to kind of talk a little bit about Division I because this is going to be a really, really interesting playoff stretch. And if you've been paying any attention to high school football this year, you've been hearing some similar names throughout the entire time. And SportsCaster.com and WJR, we've been at some of these games, so we had that first look at exactly what we're talking about. Belleville, of course, the #1 team in the state. Detroit Catholic Central, also undefeated, doing a great job as well. And Cody Stedman's going to join me in here as well. Cody, I'll put your headset on. I'm talking about the Division I teams and how exciting I think this playoff push is going to be when it comes to these Division I teams, because we called a couple of these games. Saline is in there. I know you're a Saline kid right now. But when you look at Belleville and what they were able to do today, and this is kind of a theme that we've seen with them all season long. They stranglehold teams. They don't have a lot of games that are very close because they're just so talented across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially seeing with this game holding Fordson, a team that has had more wins over them of all time, putting them to 31-0 is really, really impressive. Besides that little squabble at the end.
Yeah, well,
we're gonna disregard that. But seeing that push at the second quarter, and especially the third with the 2 touchdowns, it sounds really nice.
Yeah, and Belleville, you got to give them credit. They keep playing, and I think that they are probably frustrated that they maybe aren't getting the touchdowns as fast, quote unquote. I'm using air bunny signals, because I think they think they're a lightning strike team, and they can be if they need to be. But Fordson, you were up in the booth. Did it not feel like an eternity between plays when they had the ball offensively? It was almost like it was by design to keep Belleville's offense off the field.
I think that's what the team was going for. We saw that a ton with the defense holding them to a field goal. We saw that at the beginning, and we saw even more on when they started holding them, and when we saw those flags fly out for I'm forgetting the word, personal fouls.
Oh yeah.
And even with that hold, it shows that it shows the cracks. It shows the cracks starting to form. We saw with the 2 runs of Bryce Underwood maybe doing a little bit of fumbling, and that's why there wasn't a lot of those plays in the second half.
Well, you also don't want to put your 5-star quarterback in harm's way when you don't need to when you're winning 31-0. I would pretty much put that to that point for him. But what do you think about 1 week left? Has this high school football season been as exciting as ever?
I think for Belleville, I think it's been exciting enough.
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, there is some cracks that they're able to mend for the postseason. There is some things that they have to work on, but either way, it's good enough for them to enter into the postseason, have their lineups for the quarter and semifinals, and then right now, they're staring at that state championship.
Absolutely.
And they're waiting for it to come up for them.
And that could be a little bit of a double-edged sword, because sometimes you can look a little bit too far down the road if you're not careful. Now, this Belleville team, again, hasn't been challenged, probably won't be challenged until late into this playoff run. But if you look at that top list I just handed to you, you got Detroit Catholic Central. That looks every bit a part of a complete team that could challenge a team like a Belleville team. You've got Howell, you've got Davison, Saline as well. There's plenty of teams that could probably give these Tigers at least a run for their money. Do they have enough to get there? We will find out, and we will certainly see about that. All right. Tell me about your experience, because here at SportsCaster.com, in conjunction with WJR Radio, we are giving student broadcasters, as another one joins us here on the booth, Taryn Fritzshing. She's on the mic. You know, Taryn, you're typically our sideline reporter.
I know I am.
And Cody has done one game already where he's been color commentating earlier this season, so this was his second go-round. But this was your first.
This was my
doing
first.
The color. And let's be honest, people. She showed up, and we said, you're in the booth tonight. And it's like you're a bench warmer in a baseball game, and you're going, it's going to be a nice, cozy night in. No, Taryn, get up in the booth. You're calling the game. How'd it go?
Ooh, the first half I thought went a little rocky, at least for me.
Well, of course. It's your first time.
I didn't know what to talk about, and it was just like, what do I do? I had no idea. I knew about Belleville and Fordson, but it was, what do I put in at the appropriate time, really? And
how'd it go? I mean, when did you have that first aha moment? Because you had to have had one of those.
I think I had it early in the second half. I was talking about how this game meant a lot, and it also meant a lot for the Brighton game that's heading on right now.
Well, Taryn, you did a great job.
Thank
Cody,
you.
you did a great job. We got to get out of here. So from everybody at WJR and SportsCaster.com, have a great night. We'll see you next week.